How does it feel to run the New York Marathon, one of the greatest, oldest, coolest races in the world, guys? You are here, you're joining us. I'm Rob Tatro, this is my brother Charlie.
Hi
This
there.
is the film, the tape of me and my race about a month ago. My brother Charlie was there with me. We did the entire race together. He finished in 3:11, Charlie.
311, correct? Just,
I
well, 311.40, something like that.
That's the Zdeno Chara, by the way, right there in front of me.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah. He was around you most of the
Hall of
day.
Famer, Hall of Famer, right there in front of me, and we finished together. This, for me, for those of you wondering what kind of pace this is going to be, this is a 3 hour and 18-minute marathon at New York. I lost my batteries here very
Drop the,
early on.
you'll drop the phone or
Drop the
something.
phone, get the guy to fix it to me. So we're going to take you through this race. Our goal is to give you a bird's eye view, a bird's eye perspective, but it's also to give you an annotated version of the race from the extremely chaotic start, and we'll start there, but from the extremely chaotic start to the wonderful five boroughs of New York, to the iconic finish down Central Park. What a spectacular race. Why don't I start, Charlie?
Amazing
Overall,
race, yeah.
overall, tell me
Just
about this
amazing
race.
race. Yeah, it's overall, it's if for someone who had never run a big city marathon, this was incredible. The amount of people, just the crowds, the whole way there are crowds, people cheering you on. You see the whole city. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You do get to see the five boroughs. Like I had been to New York and you had been to New York, but I'd never seen New York like this, right?
Yeah.
We've
That's
done,
amazing.
for those of you that don't know, we're Rob and Charlie. We run a podcast called The Running Journey and also a running channel, Run with Rob, it's called. We've been doing this for about 2.5 years or so. We've been tracking our journey. We both went from obesity to I'll call it fitness. We both qualified for the New York Marathon, and we didn't do it the old-fashioned way, or I guess we did do it the old-fashioned way. We qualified by running. Charlie, you ran a 2:56 to qualify for this race. I ran a 2:57, or no,
I ran at 254.
you ran a 2:54. I ran a 2:56.
Yeah.
You're supposed to exaggerate on the lower side, right?
Yeah. Since when do you do that? Anyways, so a quick note on right now what we're seeing on
Yeah,
the screen.
Verrazano, Verrazano.
Yeah, yeah. So you're lucky you got to run on top of the bridge. I was in the pink corral, and the pink corral was under the bridge. This guy here, though, in the yellow, I saw a lot during my race, I think. Anyways, eventually you do join up, but
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the
yeah,
start because it's very
yeah.
confusing to people. 55,000 runners. They don't understand how it's possible that you can get all these people out on the course at the same time. Tell us about the corrals, the waves, and the slots or the colors.
Yeah, so three different corrals. I already think I forgot the colors, but it was pink, orange,
Blue.
and blue, I believe.
Yeah.
I was in pink. Pink is the one that goes under. I think it used to be called green. Now it's pink.
It might change
So
next year too, right?
yeah, so pink goes under this Verrazano Bridge, which is basically the first 2 miles. The other two are split with this. I guess you were in blue, I believe, so you were
Yeah.
on the right side. Orange would have been on the left side. And the three courses kind of split up after the bridge for maybe a mile or so, and then everyone joins up again at about the 5K mark, which would be on 4th Avenue in Brooklyn. So,
Okay,
but
so
this part, what was your perspective? Did you get to see anything when you were on
I
top of the bridge
love
here?
this part, Charlie. I
Yeah,
love this part. I felt
yeah,
like I
yeah,
felt like it was starting something special because the whole morning. So this bridge lasts how long, Charlie? You know the course better than I do, so I'm always going to defer to
yeah,
you
yeah.
on
So it's 2 miles. It's about 2 miles. This whole
two
bridge.
miles.
When
So
you're under, it feels a little different because you're. It's kind of like you're more in a dark. My Garmin didn't even work, so it thought that I had done. I thought that it thought that it had done 1.7 miles or something after 2 miles. So it thought my pace was like nine minutes. But I think if you're on top, then you probably don't get that issue. It felt like it was just a bit darker, so it would have been nice to have been on top. But either way, it was still amazing. Started off really slow. How about you?
not as slow as I did. My first mile, I'll put up my data here because I do have it, but I believe my first mile was roughly a 9-minute mile. Now we were like you were aiming for like a 3:15, and maybe you can
But
talk about your goals first.
But how are you sure it was a 9-minute mile, or was it just
Ah,
your watch? Because mine said it was like, when I checked my Garmin after and my Strava, it said it was like a 9:30 mile. But I missed the first mile marker. The only mile marker I missed was mile number one. I guess you're so kind of amped after the, and I pressed the button exactly at each mile marker. So at mile two, I pressed the button, and it was 15:25, which would have been about a 7:40 pace, which was a little bit more than a bit slower than I was hoping for. But my whole plan was to go slow at the beginning, because the first mile is very severely uphill. You want to be taking it as slow as you can.
okay. So you're right. Maybe I didn't. It felt slow. So my first kilometer registered as 5:15, 5:15.
Yeah, that's reasonable. That's like an 8:40 or something, 8:30.
But it was even like the first part of it was even slower. It felt slow. It felt like I wasn't moving. Honestly, I felt like I had a hard time getting through the crowd. You could see here, I was looking back and forth. I'm like, where do I go? So I decided to follow this guy, I think, or follow someone. I found it very tough. There was a lot of.
Yeah. So one of the things I realized after about at mile 3 or 4 of running the New York City Marathon is it's not as important to always run the short line as you would for most marathon courses. In this type of course, it's more important to find a place where you're going to have room to run at your pace, because like you can easily either get stuck in a place where you're going too slow, or you don't have, or you're, I mean, or you're tempted to, you're behind someone that's especially really slow, and you have to kind of burst to get through. So those are kind of wastes of energy. You really don't want to be wasting your energy like that. So I had a bit of a challenge there too. Mile two, there were these blind runners, which were really kind of running at a different pace. So I realized that they were always on the right. So I decided to kind of avoid them after a while, because they just, I guess there's less blind runners, so that the paces that they were running weren't exactly as kind of consistent as everyone else.
Kind of cool
So
that they have blind runners. That's really
yeah. So the blind runners, the thing with the blind runners is they take a lot of space, because they have
an escort or like
most of them will have an escort on each side, which is amazing that the New York City does that to enable people to run
inclusion.
this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
Imagine running blind. Oh,
Oh
that
God,
would
yeah.
that would
Well,
be
I
so.
mean, I do it sometimes when I run at 5 in the morning and it's dark out. But
So this part here, I remember looking, and I'm kind of holding. So if you see the camera turning, I'm wearing a GoPro here on my chest. So if you see the camera turning,
I'm recognizing people that I ran with now that were like around where you were. It's hilarious. Anyways, yeah, keep going.
yeah, no worries. And I'm just kind of taking it all in. And for those of you that don't know, the New York Marathon takes you through the 5 boroughs. So you start. We'll go through the course real quick, Charlie, before getting, and then I want to get into the process of the morning itself, which people ask me all the time. How was it compared to other marathons? So first off, let's start with the course. Where does it go? Where do you start? You start in Staten Island, right?
Staten Island. 2 ways to get there. Either with the bus directly from, I think, I forget which station. I think it's Whitehall Station, or one of the stations from in Manhattan takes you directly bus one trip, or the Staten Island ferry. So we took the ferry. I think one of the reasons, like, we didn't know, I basically randomly picked our mode of transportation. But one of the things that was nice about the ferry is that you kind of can relax when you're in there and traveling there. And then there's a big wait. You get across. There's a wait for. So we actually took the subway from downtown Manhattan to the Staten Island ferry across to Staten Island, and then there was just a system of buses, just nonstop buses taking you to the start line. And we really weren't in a hurry. We got there like 2 hours early. A lot of people recommend showing up early. I think for us it was a little early, but your thoughts on how that process went?
I think it was early. That you and I definitely have a little bit of a different approach to planning this thing.
Yeah.
You definitely like to be a little bit earlier than I would like to be, but we didn't know. Like, we had no clue. We had read what we read on Reddit. We had read what we read online. you read the blogs, but until you're actually there, it's a little tough
I
to
think
make
it
sure.
depends. I think it might depend on which wave you're in. Like if you're in wave one, really, because there's not that big backlog of people that are going to get there before you, I think you're okay to not plan to be as early if you're in wave one, as opposed to future waves where you might get caught in a backlog of people, because there's all these checkpoints where people have to wait, where you have to wait in line. There's the bus, there's the security when you get to there's the walk to find. So interesting thing is walking in there's a nice athletes village when you get there. It's amazing. Like
It's really
there's
nice.
food,
It's big.
bagels, a million places to pee. Don't wait at the first porta potty, because there's no lineups. You should never wait till
There's
in line
Zdeno
to pee.
Chara. Zdeno Chara, yeah.
Zdeno, no,
Yeah.
I don't think that was
Well, it
him.
might not have been him. Okay.
Yeah. So at the athletes village, it's amazing. But one of the tips I would say is don't wait in line to pee. Find a place. There's places where there's enough porta potties that you shouldn't have to wait in line. Find your corral, like not your corral, but your athletes village for your color. So one of the things that I probably didn't end up doing too right was I was hanging out with Rob in the blue corral for a while, and then I decided to go to my pink corral, and I got there, and then I realized all of a sudden I was late after being there for 2 hours early. After being there 2 hours early, I was
But
late all of a sudden.
you weren't really late.
No, I wasn't late, but I got to the pink village and I asked the guy, "Hey, where do I get?" They were announcing, "Okay, go to your start corral." So I was walked from the blue corral or the blue village to the pink village, and then I got to the pink village and I asked where are the corrals, and I had walked past by like half a mile, so I had to walk back another half mile. And the guy's like, "Hey, dude, you gotta get there right now." So I felt a little panic there, but it wasn't a big deal. Anyways, I ended up doing 7,500 steps before the marathon even started. So if there's a way to limit your steps before, you should try to do that. So
we walked, half a mile or a quarter mile to the subway. Then we walked on the subway. Then we walked at the Staten Island ferry. Then we walked on the other side when we landed. Then we walked to the bus. Then we walked from the bus to the corral. Then we walked to the athletes village. Like there's a lot of distance, even if you hadn't missed that. I think I had like 5,800 steps or something before the start.
So how did you find this section going downhill here? So it's significantly downhill here.
Yeah, I think
I was still trying to keep it easy here until I got to mile 2 and I knew my pace. I was like, don't go too fast no matter what. So I was really trying to keep it smooth here.
I was excited for this part because I know I'm a good downhill runner because I'm a bigger guy, and I know that like the weight gets behind me, and like I love that burn. And I kind of thought I would do like a play-by-play. So you hear me talking there in the background. That's me like announcing my pace or talking about how fast I'm going or how I'm feeling. And I think at this point I'm kind of thinking, okay, I had a first slow mile, but I felt good. I'm saying like, oh my God, I feel good. My second kilometer was 4:32. Now we're into the third kilometer here. It's going to be a 4:16. My heart rate's at around 140 still, so still doing pretty good. I enjoyed this part because you kind of see downhill and you see where you're going because it's a little bit of like you're on top, right? You're a little bit on top, so you can see. I want to get to let's go back to the waves and the corrals because you started talking about that, but we didn't finish. It's more than just 3 waves, because what we're seeing now is this is my corral, the blue corral, and on the left of us was the orange corral, and then you were underneath in the pink corral. So the three of us are taking similar routes, not exactly the same routes, similar routes, but coming up here at mile 2, we actually end up splitting. You end up going a different direction than I do.
Yeah, I go right. So I'm under here. I'm actually on your left right now, under.
Yeah.
But we go under this overpass and go to the right.
And why do they do that, Charlie? Why do they, like 55,000 runners? Clearly, it's just they can't get the volume, right? They can't get that.
Yeah, it's just so people are less crowded, I guess. So I think each wave, so there's 3 waves. There's 50,000. So each wave is like 17,000 runners or 18,000 runners. So
each corral
at the beginning, each.
And then there's 5.
There's 5 waves. So I miscalculated. It's like 12,000 per wave. So then each corral divided by 3 is about 4,000 per. And then you split up between your pace times. in
Yeah.
there.
They
So
had 5 different.
important to go in the right pacing zone, because or else it's going to be crowded, and if you're not in a group that's running at about the right pace, it makes it hard to save energy, right? You're going to be wasting energy weaving through in and out. If you're too far back, you're going to be wasting energy weaving in and out, and if you're too far ahead, then you're going to be in the way of people, which is not good either, right? So
Yeah,
important.
I don't know if I agree that much with you on that. And I know we had talked about this before, but like I'm reviewing how I felt here and how I started
Yeah,
myself. So I was wave 1, so the
yeah,
first wave in the pink corral, and I was at the back of the first wave, right? Correct?
yeah. Well, I was too. So I was actually they put me in corral A, but I moved way back because I realized like it was like where I was standing, it was like a 255 pace. So I was like, I'm not going to be able to do 255. So I went back to like 315, just behind 315 pace to start.
Here I am describing how we qualified for New York, talking about your
Yeah,
256. But
yeah,
the okay, so I was in the first corral and I was like, okay, I ran a 256 to qualify here, so they wanted me kind of at the 3 hour or 3:05 pace is where they slotted
yeah,
me naturally. They have
yeah,
this system where they kind of predict your time, right, Charlie?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly.
So they'll say, okay, you did a 256 at this marathon. It was a little bit of a faster marathon, so you're probably going to do a 3:05 or a 3:10. They put
Yeah,
you there, but I knew I wasn't going to do a 3:05 or 3:10 this day because I was coming off an injury. I wasn't feeling that great, so I
yeah,
told myself 3:20, 3:25 would be a good time, and I thought I wanted to slate myself in that time slot. I thought it was important. I didn't want to pass people. I didn't want to get passed by people, so I went right at 3:20. And I ended
yeah,
up doing a 318, so that was obviously kind of a reasonable number. But what I found and what you saw in the video early on is there's a whole bunch of people that don't slot themselves.
yeah,
People
yeah.
were walking that first mile
People generally slot themselves too far ahead, right?
way too far ahead, and you end up having to pass a bunch of people.
Yeah,
Had,
yeah,
had I
yeah.
started, 4 minutes earlier, or 5 minutes earlier, or 5 minutes later, I really don't think there would have big a
No, it doesn't make that much of a difference. It just makes it slightly easier, I think.
yeah.
I, I
I
think I think like my always preference is at the beginning. I really want to make sure I don't go too fast because I think that's the biggest mistake you can ever do in a marathon. So that's
here we
why
see here
I
we see
always
the
set myself.
people to the left here. We see them kind of the other corral merging. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. So, but that's not on my group yet. So
No.
this is orange, and this is orange and blue. Uh,
Yeah,
Pink is not there yet.
yeah,
So,
I think
anyways, sorry. What I was going to say is I always put myself slightly back because the biggest mistake I think you can make in a marathon is go out too fast early. So if you're a little bit back, that forces you to kind of go a little slower, and then you adjust accordingly. So I kind of did the mistake of maybe going a little too slow on my first 2 miles,
same. Yeah.
but I feel like you gain it all back. Like it's no big deal. I was maybe 25 seconds slower than I wanted to be. Um, I was 25 seconds slower than I wanted to be in the first 2 miles. So that's like over, okay, 24 miles. That's a second a mile. No big deal, right?
Yeah.
Right.
This is now
Anyways, I didn't run this part, so I don't know how this
yeah.
felt.
So this is entering Brooklyn here. You're kind of crossing 92nd. You're on 92nd Street. You're approaching 95th, 86th. You're going to get all the way up to Bay Ridge Avenue, 77th Street. So you're starting at the higher numbers in Brooklyn, and you're kind of making your way north.
You're already on fourth here, I think, right? Or no?
Fourth Ave. I'm talking about the street. So you're crossing the streets here.
Yeah, sorry, but you're already on Fourth Ave. I only joined Fourth Ave a little bit later.
Yeah, I think you joined at mile 4 or 5.
No, it's mile 3. Where are we?
Mile
at
3.
past
Okay.
3?
Okay.
Are we past 3 already? It's
Sorry,
like at
kilometer
5K.
5. Kilometer 5. I
Yeah,
meant to
5.
say.
Oh, now you're on fourth.
Yeah, right here. I'm turning on 4th.
Now
Yeah, this
you're on
is
fourth.
4th right here, and I think you're at 4th and like 95th here. I want to say.
Well, how many minutes are we in here?
We are.
Anyways, you'll see the pinks coming in from the side at some point.
Yeah. So this is kind of mile 3. Still a ton of people here.
Yeah.
Like, still a lot of people, and I didn't find yet that I could find my zone. You know, when you do a marathon,
Yeah.
other marathons that I've done, so the Manitoba Marathon, the you always start, I get it, it's busy at the start, but like 5, 10, 15 minutes in, you find your little pace, your spot, and you run, and you're by yourself, and
Yeah.
you'll pass people, you'll get past. But this is
So an
not like that.
interesting thing happened to me in this marathon that it was a learning experience that probably never happened. So first 2 miles I went slightly too slow. So then what I did is I slightly panicked and did a couple miles maybe a little too fast.
Okay.
In other words, like I did like couple 6:55s after I realized I was a little slow. So it's like I kind of did the same mistake, but in a different that I wanted to avoid, but in a different way. So I went too slow and then adjusted by going too fast. But then what happened was really this Brooklyn area to me was like this is the best. It's the smoothest. It's like if you want to this is where you get into your rhythm. I feel like it's the flattest part of the course. It's basically 10 miles of flat. Like there's some small changes in elevation, but this is where you kind of can find a rhythm. I think I know you hadn't found it yet, but I think somewhere around here is where you can find it.
Yeah, it's I'd never been to Brooklyn, and you read about it. I'm a Canadian, I'd never really been to Brooklyn. This area I think is called Diker Heights, and we're
Yeah.
kind of entering into Bay Ridge. But this part was lined with spec. I mean, the whole course is lined with
Yeah,
spectators.
yeah, yeah. But this is a beautiful part of the course, right? Yeah.
Nice and flat. You find your rhythm. You do see a little bit of opening up here. See, so here you see I'm kind of able to find a spot to run, and okay, I want to pass
Well,
this
it's
guy.
it's like 6 lanes wide here, and you're running. At some point, though, the pinks are going to join. It's going to get a
Yeah,
bit more.
it gets
Um,
tighter.
so one of the things that I found was helpful here is I would spot another runner that was ahead of me that I liked how consistent their pacing looked. Right?
Look at this
Yeah,
group ahead here. This pack. There's a big
yeah. So this
pack.
is tough. Yeah, like
You can't
you
get
have
through,
to
right?
you got to kind of figure out a way. So here you don't want to push too hard. You just kind of want to ease your way through here is kind of the trick, but it's hard.
You get
You have to
frustrated,
be
right?
yeah, you have to be okay with kind of going a little bit slower than your pace for a while until you kind of just
Like if you wanted to
slowly.
bolt here, if you wanted to zoom, you really couldn't do it that safely, right? It wouldn't be.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could sprint here and go
It's,
across, but that's not good to be sprinting in a marathon, right?
yeah.
So, um, so what I found was once I got on Fourth Avenue, the extreme left of the boulevard, nobody was running there at some point,
Yeah.
and I just stayed on the left the entire time. And the reason wasn't for fans or wasn't for wind or wasn't for anything. It was just I felt like it was like the one place where I could kind of just keep my pace how I wanted.
Did you find that? So I also tried that. Like I'm trying everything here. You'll see I'm trying kind of the middle. I'm trying. Eventually, I find my way to the right, which is your equivalent of
Okay,
the left, and I'll
yeah.
kind of jog there for a
Oh,
bit.
so here we're 3 miles. So
This is mile 3. Yeah.
yeah, so we're gonna join up here. Sorry, so before you make your point about staying on the right, where were you at mile 3 compared relative to your pace that
Oh,
you
I
were
was
hoping?
I'm behind like by I'd say about a minute. So I didn't
Yeah,
really. I wanted to do a 3 kind of 20 as my
yeah,
stretch goal, 3:30 originally. But
yeah,
once you start running, the problem, you probably get this too. I'm coming off an injury. I'm coming off, well,
yeah,
I don't want to say an injury, but kind of overuse. I did 3 Ironman this summer, and I
yeah, yeah.
ran across Manitoba, and I did 2 ultras. And I got to the point where I couldn't jog. I couldn't jog.
Yeah, yeah,
So my coach said, "You're taking a month off. That's it. Take a month off." And that month off was the New York Marathon. So I said, "Well, no, I can't. This is the 5K
yeah,
here. Yeah."
yeah.
I said I can't do so 5K. I'm at anyways, I'm at 4 and 4:30 or something like that. So I'm behind my pace. But I said I'm not running the New York Marathon. So I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
going to do a nice slow marathon. But what happened is I started feeling good around this spot here. I started feeling good. And I started saying, if you kind of listen to me, I'm kind of saying like, you know what, feel good. I might give it a go here. I might try for a few miles, see how I feel. And I'll give you the punchline right now is that the first half I ended up doing a really good like 3:10 pace or something like that, and then I couldn't keep it.
Oh,
I
okay.
started getting really stiff
So
soreness in
so
the hip.
we must have been close to each other at some point here because my first half was 135. Uh, what? 1:35.05 or something. I was like 5 seconds behind, and I was like, oh, I'll negative this, so I'll break my 3:10. I was hoping for a sub 3:10.
Yeah. I was also hoping for a negative, and I was like ridiculously confident, way more confident than I should have been, because like I knew that jogging the weeks before,
Yeah.
like I wasn't nearly where I was when we trained for LA and when we qualified for LA, right? Like I wasn't anywhere
Yeah.
near that. So I was naively confident, and I shouldn't have been. So
Well, I think you must have been pretty close to where you were, because like I think that's an easy 20 minute difference.
you think the difference between what we did is
At least 20. The
okay?
course, but I don't know. Anyways, um, I feel like I remember there being a boulevard here in the middle. So okay, so now you're going to your right where you found your space, right?
Yeah, I did find my space.
Oh, there you go. There's where the pinks join. That's where we
They're
joined.
coming
Okay.
right here, and then I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah,
what's happening
you were
here?
in the wrong spot there.
Yeah, and then I kind of got hit, like I got hammered.
So my plan was to do 23-minute 5Ks, and I was at 23:25 after the first 5K. But I gained it all back, and then
What was your time? 23?
23:25 for my first 5K.
Oh wow, I was at 23:17.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
So you were ahead of me after 5K.
According to my watch, but we don't know if the watch is accurate. I don't know if that's the watch is accurate, right?
Yeah.
So you could have been somewhere here.
Well, I mean, you could check on in your results. It shows
Yeah.
on the New York City.
Let's do that.
But
yeah, so now I'm back to going to the side. What I was gonna say about running on the side is, okay, I thought this is not bad, but then okay, this guy's walking, and once in a while, what I found is I would get you have one less option if you're on the border, right?
yeah.
You can't go right, so you only have left. Whereby if I was running in the middle, I could go right or left. But you're right, there was less traffic.
But I feel like a lot of people probably thought that way, and then that's why they were in the middle. Because when I went to the left, like all of a sudden, pretty much I did miles, basically 4 to 10. I did like 6 miles straight line on the left at some point here.
6 miles straight on the left. Okay, so yeah, my first 5K was 23:20. I just pulled it up. So you were at what, 23:25?
I think I don't know the official.
Now, who knows what time we started, right? I don't think we start. I think you would have started maybe a tad in front of me.
Yeah.
Like
I know I started. I think I started after you, actually.
Okay. Because we were in the same wave, just I was supposed to be further back than you.
Yeah.
Supposed to be further back. So I averaged 7 minutes and 34 seconds per mile. During this stretch, I was obviously ahead of that. 23 minutes and 20 seconds is what again, Charlie? That'd be like 7:10 or something?
I don't even remember. No.
Anyways.
Yeah. I can figure it out here.
So I'm going to talk a bit about that morning and the setup, and I want to chat a tiny bit more about that, because for me that was I just, you talked about the cool things, but getting there, I think had we not gotten there, let's say we would have timed it a lot tighter. And we would have gotten there at I don't know, half an hour before our scheduled time. I thought about this after. Like, is the worst case that you just start in the next wave?
Yeah, that's the worst case. You start in the next wave, but you have to wait 35 minutes.
Right. But
we're already waiting. Yeah, but then you're in the next wave, and then the pacing's off, and then whatever. But plus, I think the earlier you start, the better off you are, because it gets warmer. But
so the 23:20 puts us right at 7:30 on the nose. Right on the nose.
Which was slower than I wanted to be. I think
slower than I wanted to be, but faster than I ended up doing. Right?
Yeah.
I ended up doing 7:34.
But when I got to Brooklyn, this is where, like I was saying, I hit my rhythm, and I did about 12 straight miles, average 7-minute pace. Like I would go up 5 or down 5, depending on the terrain, but pretty much right on 7-minute pace for about 12 miles. to make up for my first 2 miles. Basically took me 10 miles to make up for the first 2 miles.
This is some sort of tunnel here.
Yeah, yeah.
So that the elevation gain in the total of the entire course, like the highest peak you're going to hit is in that first mile when you're going over Verrazano Bridge.
Yeah,
There's nothing comparable to that, because the rest of the course you're pretty much at sea level, right?
Yeah. Well, each bridge. So we'll get to the bridge at mile 16 is pretty hard. And even the bridge at mile 13, I was surprised. I didn't expect it to be that steep. And then the one at 18 is a little, I mean, it's very short. They're no big deal. They're really no big deal. But
this is mile 4 right here. We just crossed mile 4.
Yeah, mile 4. So here I was doing 7-minute miles.
There's a bit of an aid station, I think, there. So they had them, aid stations, they had them, what, every 2 miles, Charlie? Am I accurate?
Every mile, except there was some missing, like, I forget in the pamphlet, but I think mile 5 and 7. But so it starts at 3, I think 3, 4, and then there's one missing, maybe 6 and 8 are missing, but basically every mile starting at mile 3, except for a few that are missing.
Look at the cups on the ground here. Did you find?
Yeah, it took me a while to figure out how to do good to grab cups properly, because traffic was a little bit tough. So at first I'd read online that you maybe wait and then go to the end. But what I found for me, which worked a lot better, is I was on the left, right? So I would just basically line myself up and I would take the lane. And because I had established myself, people would know, and I would just go. And because at that pace, everyone's kind of running at the same pace, so it's no big deal, right? I would just grab the first one that I would see, drink it, and then keep going.
Yeah, the problem is not you. The problem is someone in front of you stops. That's
But what I'm saying is that at my pace, like at our pace, most people don't do that. They'll grab it and move to the side maybe, but almost no one will stop.
Yeah.
I had only had one place where it was a big problem, and it was just I couldn't get to it because there's 4 or 5 people on my left, and they were all kind of lined up to grab it, so I couldn't get to it, so I had to like kind of slow down and then go behind. But for the most part, I found that just kind of establishing myself and then getting it worked better than maybe waiting and then trying to get it at the end. So I tried both of those strategies, and I thought just that first one worked better. How about you? How did you find getting cups?
Oh, trying to gel here.
Oh, gels.
Letting the crowd
Okay, what was your gel strategy?
I did exactly what the coach said, which was remind me 10 or 9 or something like that.
Well, I did one every. I think you did the same thing I did, so I at one every 3 miles.
Yeah, 3 miles. That's what I did every 3 miles. So one before and then one every 3 miles. But I missed one. This is mile 4? This is my first one. Like I forgot to do.
Yeah. I forgot a couple times. Like I would forget and then do an extra
catch
one.
Up.
Whatever.
But I'd never done that many gels ever in my life. In fact, like you weren't even doing gels your first marathon that you did like
my first 4 marathons. I did not do it one gel.
You didn't believe in it. You were like, no.
I was like, I don't need nutrition.
It's crazy. That's ridiculous. You drink water on a marathon? A loser. That was you to me. Oh yeah, you're drinking water. You can't run 4 hours without water. Baby can't run 4 hours. And then now you're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a little different.
Well, I figure the more you can get, like without upsetting your stomach, can help, right?
That first marathon that I did gels, it was Tucson. Yeah. And I think I did 2 maybe, and you were like, you're trying gels, eh? Maybe I did 3, and then LA. So that first Tucson was our first sub 4.
Yeah,
that was in December 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, December 2021.
Yeah, December 2021, 2 years ago. That was our first sub 4 hour marathon.
Yeah,
and I had just come off of 450, and you were kind of.
It was my first marathon in 7 years or something.
Yeah, so kind of our first real marathons, and then we broke 4. And then the next race we did LA Vegas in like April or February or March, or I forget when, in 2022. And that one I did like 4 or 5 gels. And that kind of became my, I kind of did one every 40 minutes, and then I did every half hour. And this one I did every 3 miles. So now that's the most I've ever done in terms of gels this race.
Yeah, that's like almost every 20 minutes, 21, 22 minutes, right?
It's a lot. It's a lot of gels.
Yeah. But I had no problem taking them down.
Me neither.
The only thing is at the end when your heart rate's high, it's harder to take gels in, I find.
Yeah, because you can't breathe, and it's pasty in your mouth, and you're trying to get air and swallow.
Yeah. So
this is Sunset Park. We're approaching mile 5 here. We're on 4th Ave going north. This is 47th Street, I think. So we started at 95th Street, and then 90th, 80th, and now we're at 40. And we will go all the way till we turn on Lafayette, which is in about 2.5, 3 miles. But this is this is the longest, I feel like, is the longest straight stretch, right, Charlie?
Yeah, this is a very long straight stretch. So if you get bored a long straight stretch, this might be a tough. But if you're someone like me who just kind of likes to get into a rhythm, this to me was like, this is where I was starting to feel better. So actually, when I started the marathon, like my legs didn't feel super good. But here is kind of where it's just nice. It's very flat, a bit of uphill, downhill, and you can kind of just run your pace. So it's very nice.
That guy with the orange and the blue orange, I saw him a lot. I remember him vividly. So.
Yeah, one of the interesting things is that you'll see the same people over and over again sometimes, and then they're passing you, and then you pass them later, and it's like, I guess like your paces, I guess, are not. You think you're running a consistent pace, but maybe you're not, or maybe other people aren't running as consistent as you are. I don't know. But it's interesting how you kind of go back and forth with the same people sometimes.
I definitely did not run a consistent pace. This is the first race, first race in the last 2 years that I didn't do a negative split, and I didn't even come close. I was so mentally convinced that I would do a negative split, and I didn't do it. I wasn't even close. It's a little demoralizing.
Well, the thing with this course is it's definitely a lot. The second half, so like this is all flat, right? First half.
Yeah.
Second half, much harder. There's more hills. The mile 24 is the hardest mile there is. So if you're able to negative, that means you've really conserved a lot in the first half.
There's mile 5.
Mile 5, here we go. So still quite a few miles. Mile 7, I think, or 7 or 8 is where you hit Lafayette, which is the next turn. But yeah, so negativing is really hard. So I was about 1:20 slower on my second half than I was on my first half, which I feel is pretty good. Is a pretty good split.
Yeah, I was way worse than that. My half was 136, so that means my second half was like 142.
Yeah. I think I was 135.15 and then 136.30 or something. So a minute and a 15 slower second half.
This next 5K for me, so we're approaching the end of 10K here. I ended up doing 7:23, so 7:31 for the first.
I think these are slightly downhill, these next few.
Very slight.
Yeah, it makes you don't notice it, but I feel like I was easily doing 6:55s and 7s here. Yeah, like I felt like I was doing smooth 6:55s here.
So so I was doing 7. So I did 7:23s here for these 5Ks.
Yeah,
and I ended up. So that's 8.1 miles per hour. For those of you scoring at home, and then 7:30 is like 8.0, and then once you get to 7:20, now you're at 8.2 miles per hour. So if you're on your treadmill or whatever, and the next 10K after this first 10K, that's kind of what I did, 8.2. So that
I think I went way faster because now I remember my second 5K was just way too fast.
Well, you could pull it up if you'd like to.
Yeah.
So I was. To give you guys a bit of a background on this and why we decided to do this race. Those of you wondering, Charlie and I, we're from Winnipeg. We're brothers. We're brothers in Winnipeg, and we've we started running. Our dad got cancer. Dad got cancer 2 years ago in right around in 2021. Our dad got cancer, and 2020, 2021, I don't know, whatever. And we started running. We both started walking because we were both overweight. I weighed 250 pounds. You weighed around that number. And walking turned into running, and running turned into jogging. Jogging turned into a marathon. A marathon turned into let's try to run a sub 4. Then let's try to run a sub 3:30. Then let's try to qualify for Boston. And if you want to know the punchline, we qualified for Boston. I think I'm talking about the Manitoba Marathon in Winnipeg right now. Yeah, so we qualified for Boston. We'll be running that in maybe by the time you watch this video in 2024, April 24. Charlie and I will both be running that race. We did this. We also did Ironman. Charlie and I both did an Ironman. I did 4. Charlie did. You did 1 or 2?
I did 1.
Yeah, and I actually qualified for Ironman Worlds. I went and I raced that this summer, and this is our running journey. So have you found out your paces or what? How are you doing?
Yeah. I'm looking at it here. So it's actually not as fast as I thought. So mile 4, I did a 6:58, 7:02, 7:05. Yeah, you're talking about Tucson.
I'm telling the exact same story.
Yeah. So miles 4 to basically 13. We're like about 7:05 pace for me. I was right on pace at that point. So my cumulative pace was always within. Once I got to mile 7, my cumulative pace was basically right at that 3:10 target.
Okay. Did you like this Brooklyn kind of, like, I don't want to say movie feel, but kind of like TV show feel a little bit? Did you feel it, or did you have any moments where you thought, okay, this is different New York, or this is New York, or this, like, I almost felt like this felt like Winnipeg.
Yeah, it felt more not as big city-ish, It felt Brooklyn felt like it's kind of its own town type of thing.
Yeah.
Not super big skyscrapers or anything, but a lot of crowd support.
Lined the entire way. The entire way. There wasn't like necessarily a person but like there was people. There were people everywhere. Like there wasn't really, unless there was like a turn off an exit or something like that, or a ramp or a bridge, you had people. Where they allowed people, you had people. It's crazy. And then it really picks up the people once you get to, I guess, Manhattan and obviously Central Park and Queens and all that, right?
So one of the things I think I would give as advice to someone who runs New York for the first time is, for this section, this is likely going to be the easiest section you're going to be running the entire marathon. So if you're feeling good about it, make sure to conserve, because it's going to get harder. It's going to get a lot harder in terms of how the course is. So this would be a time to conserve energy as opposed to trying to go fast.
Just saw a guy wearing his New York Marathon shirt.
Yeah, I love that move.
Yeah, you like it. I remember when I did it in
I've never done it. I would never do it.
I was so naive. I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I did it in Tucson, and you're like, dude, what are you doing? I wore my Tucson shirt, and you're like, you're not supposed to do that. And I was like, I don't know. I didn't own a running shirt, so I was like, cool. I now have a running shirt.
Well, I wouldn't say you're not supposed to do it, but I feel like you're kind of jinxing yourself.
That's definitely the vibe among runners. Definitely the vibe among runners. I told you my Ironman story, right? When I went and bought the finisher gear the day before.
Yeah, the day before, yeah.
And she was like, you can't buy the finishing gear. I was like, well, how do I buy that sweatshirt? And they were like, it's in the back. We'll take it out tomorrow. I was like, well, no, I want to buy it now because I won't have time because I have to catch a flight. So here's another aid station. So this must be close to mile 6, I would imagine.
Yeah, I was on the extreme left. This was my favorite part, with the right on the left with that boulevard there. No one wanted to run close Plus, if ever it got squeezed, I could kind of do some hops on the boulevard.
Look at the cups. There's just so many cups.
Yeah, that is a thing that you have to be aware, I would imagine, especially if you're probably in the later waves. Those
Right.
cups.
We were in the first waves, and there's non-stop runners. I imagine it, like, do they clean it? How would they clean it? Oh,
They don't clean it. I think
that was
it's
mile
just
6. That was mile 6.
Mile
just
6,
there.
yeah.
And there's people on the other side still that we're not merging yet. We haven't merged, right? Were you on the other side, Charlie?
No, I was right against this. Everyone's merged now.
Well,
I was
on the
right
other
against.
side of the
You see this boulevard here on your left?
Yeah.
I was right up against that boulevard.
Okay, but who's on the other side of the boulevard? There are people
so
running.
those will be the oranges.
Okay, so we haven't all merged yet. I think
I mean, you could just hop over, no big deal, right?
I know, but what I'm saying is there are cones, and in theory, they split the group, right?
Technically, they only join at mile 7 or mile 8 once you get to Lafayette, but everyone here is pretty much.
Yeah, but remember when we hit Lafayette, you'll see it in a bit. But like that was crazy when we got to Lafayette. Like.
Yeah. So Lafayette, mile 12, you'll see. I got stuck behind the 320. I don't know why the 320 was so far ahead. Like I was on 315 exact pace. Sorry, I was on 310 exact pace. I know I started a bit late, and I was behind the 320 somehow. So I guess he went too fast. I don't know. But that was that. It gets narrower there, so you have to kind of plan things.
If you counted all the times that you go from one extreme to the other, what would that be? 10 meters?
Yeah.
Every time.
You're doing a lot of extra distance.
I probably did it, and I know that when I finished my race, I ended up, like, I think my thing says 42 point, what does it say? 42.4 kilometers. So did I do an extra, 300 meters? That was
So interesting thing about that for me is it shows less for me, but only because when I was under the bridge, it wasn't tracking it. So here I was right against that. You see how there's some space there against that boulevard? I was right against that boulevard this entire time on the left.
So there's a chance we were around the same spot here. There's a chance.
Yeah, I would say I was probably a little bit ahead now. But
yeah, but I mean, I finished 7 minutes behind you, and you beat me by 6 on the back half. So like.
Yeah, maybe yeah. So yeah.
And depending on when we started, there's a chance you're somewhere. Like we don't know. But
yeah.
We could actually compare and see our
well, I'll see if there's anyone I recognize here, but I'm not.
So that was mile 7, correct? We just passed mile 7.
Mile 6, I think.
Mile 6, yeah. So that was the 10K then. We just passed 10K. So my pace for the second part of the 10K was 7:23, 8.1, and then we're now kind of going to be approaching Carroll Gardens and Red Hook are going to be on the left. The communities. Yeah. 19th Street. We're passing 19th Street, and we're like, a mile or so away, mile and a half away from turning on Lafayette. Still in the heart of Brooklyn. Still kind of crossing Park Slope. The community of Park Slope will be on the right here. My guy with my orange stripes is high-fiving everyone. He's still ahead. There's a lot of people.
You've been following that guy for a long time.
Yeah, look at the people. Like, I was wearing my Canada outfit, so I got a Run with Rob shirt. So I ran across Manitoba. By the way, follow the channel if you haven't done it yet. We run a podcast, but we also do some really neat running things. One of the things that I did is I ran across Manitoba, my province of Manitoba. I did that this year over the course of 12 days, 2 half marathons per day for 12 days. And I wore this shirt, this really neat shirt. It's a white shirt, and it's got a big red maple leaf on it. It clearly smells of Canada when someone sees it. So I got so many chants, like, go Canada, Canada, you're doing great, go Canada. And for me, it was encouraging. Here's my try on the right again.
Yeah.
48 minutes roughly. So
that's one of the things that you'll find is just find places where you can run, where you got space in front of you. Right.
This guy's high-fiving the people. Like, look at that guy right in the middle of the lane, right? So now you're like,
oh yeah, that's the other thing. You'll wait till it gets narrower in about a few miles here. And,
like I'm almost hitting people here, right? Like
yeah. Oh, I almost hit a couple. Like
look where the cord is, the ropes. It's way over here on the right, far right. People are ahead of that.
Yeah. You're getting soon. We're gonna do a left. So it's gonna go down here. This is gonna be downhill, a left. And then you're going to hit Lafayette. Lafayette was a tough stretch for me. It was uphill significantly. For me, I felt the uphillness. And I think the Pacers went way faster than I would have gone.
Yeah, I think we're still about at least a mile away here from Lafayette, I think. Because that is what.
Yeah. We're still a bit away, but I remember seeing this just before we hit Lafayette.
For those of you that are wondering, the 4th Avenue 9th Street station and then Union Station, if you're like a New Yorker, are kind of on the right. So you're kind of in that area. Still no high rises, still kind of community, community-ish. Still my guy in the front here. Although it's having
Pause.
Yeah. This stretch here, still on 4th. We're going up north. Very flat. There's my guy again running in front of me. Did you think at this point that so you were running?
Is that which flag is that? Do you know?
I don't even know, but he's high-fiving everyone.
Columbia, maybe.
Yeah, we should. The least we should do is find out. Roughly around 11K in at this point for me.
Yeah,
I think my pace was my heart rate's hovering around 152 right now.
Yeah.
So it's. What do you think yours would have been at this point?
Oh, I was 160 right away. I just have a higher heart rate. Like, I was 160 by a mile.
Does it start that way? Do you think because you're nervous, or do you think it just because you're not at 160 when you're just sitting down? That's kind of weird.
No, but 160, I was doing 7-minute miles, so that's my.
Yeah, but
I feel like my threshold heart rate is probably higher than most people. Like, in other words, I can run 170 for over an hour. So, anyways, but I was about 160 for sure at this point, easily.
Yeah, but you don't go from resting heart rate 50 to 160 in 1 mile, do you?
No. But by the time, it doesn't take me long to get to 160 if I start running at a 7-minute per mile pace.
How long do you think it takes you to get there?
1 mile, maybe. I don't know. Not very long.
So in 7 minutes, you go from 50 to 160, you think, or 8 minutes?
Yeah, I would say if it's that fast, yeah. Like if I'm going at that pace, yeah. Like it's pretty steady. Like to me, it's like it's almost like linear from depending on my pace, you know. But there's a certain point where like it just kind of. I feel like if you're running at a pace where your heart rate stays steady for a long time, then it's fine, right? Like even if it's high, as opposed to there's a pace where it's just going to keep going up where you can't maintain it, right?
Yeah. I think we're approaching. So this building here was kind of neat. I think we're approaching mile. What would it be? Mile 8, I think, at some point here we're going to approach. My heart rate, I think, is I've never been. I don't think I jump up as much as you. I don't think it kind of takes me a lot longer to get to one.
Yeah.
Takes me a lot longer to get to 140 or 150 or whatever it may be. This spot here, this is kind of the what would this be, the end of Brooklyn, I guess, or the.
Yeah.
The guy's still going strong in front of me. My pacing here, so I had done these kilometers were right around 4 minutes and 25. There I am checking my pace. Were you checking your pace? Do you check your pace a lot during the
I race? Was actually this time. So the thing with this course is that there's a lot of up and down, right? So I wouldn't say I was I had the 310 goal, which I knew was 7:15 per mile, and I was checking like over and under. I started about 50 seconds behind after mile 2, and then eventually I got back right on it, and then I was checking every mile to see. I was doing the mental math how far off I was. And I knew I was very, very close till my mile 19.
Look at these supporters. Oh my God, there's just so many.
Yeah, it's an amazing course.
And this is wide. This is like I don't know, 100 feet wide. Oh, more than that. It's got to be
Yeah, this is super wide. It's like 8 lanes wide.
8 lanes wide.
This was actually the pretty much the smoothest place to run. No turns, straight.
Yeah, because when you're done mile 3, when you jump on 4th Ave all the way to Lafayette, it's as straight as a line as you can get, and that is like 5.5 miles. Yeah,
I think 5 miles. Yeah.
So it's it's as straight as I get, and they do have the rope, but a lot of people don't care. Did you see a lot of runners and families and stuff? Not runners, but like random people going across and stuff. Not at this early in the race.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, people had a hard time crossing the street sometimes. But I pity the people that had to go do their groceries across the street there.
You just can't get by. You just cannot get by. What have you? So for you, when you were doing this at this point, you're ahead of schedule. You were like ahead of schedule, right? Or ahead of your?
No, I was never ahead.
No, you were always.
I was never ahead in the entire thing. I mean, sorry, I was 3 seconds ahead after 19 miles.
So, ahead of you were talking about 3. What pace are you talking?
3:10.
3:10. Yeah. Okay.
I was exactly 3 seconds ahead after 19 miles, and then, but mile 20 and 21 are tough, and then 24 is tough. So, after 20 and 21 both have a bridge on them. I couldn't come back from that. So it was kind of this pattern where I would fall behind my pace every time there was a bridge or an uphill. Like there's a big uphill on mile 8 that people don't realize, 8 or 9. So I fell behind there, gained it back, fell behind when we climbed the bridge on 13, gained it back, fell behind when we climbed the bridge on 16, gained it back by 19. It was like that pattern. And then finally 20 and 21, I couldn't do it back. I couldn't make it up after 20 and 21. Those 2 bridges were too hard.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking I might be able to do like a 3:15 or something, but 3:10, kind of secretly hoping.
Yeah.
And here's another aid station. You see, there's chaos.
Yeah. There is a bit of chaos. That's why I kind of like this strategy of just like establishing yourself.
But what if someone in front of you? I know I've said it before, but I think I decided, okay, chaos. I'll wait, stay in the middle, and then I'll catch it at the end.
Yeah, I guess there's different schools of thought there. I would like establish myself, and then as soon as I get my cup, then I move out, because I knew that chaos was coming, right? So I'd get my cup real quick, then run to the middle, and basically sprinting, because like I just didn't want to get caught and stuff.
Yeah, I don't like the first guy in the aid station approach. To me, it's just too dangerous. Mm-hmm. That's your approach for sure, but
no, I wouldn't say I was always first. Like I would kind of look at, and if I kind of scope it out before I get there and see where's a good spot, but usually try to get it early.
This is where we turn here. This is where we turn.
Yeah, this part here.
Mile 8 is right around.
Tough because there's so much traffic here, and then here it was good because people went way too fast, so they didn't realize it was uphill. I don't know, but I was actually, no one was in my way. I was in the way of everyone because everyone was passing me here. Because I had my strategy of like, make sure I don't go hard on any of the uphills. Make sure I don't lose and I would always get past every uphill.
There's Zdeno, I think.
But this isn't the uphill yet.
No.
It's a bit further.
Yeah, Hall of Famer Zdeno Chara. That's what he's wearing. I don't know if it's
That's him right there? I think
that's definitely what he's wearing. I just don't know if there's a couple other guys that we saw that had that outfit. So quick story on Zdeno Chara is that I ran the race. Yeah, that's his gait. And I would hear from time to time, go Big Z or go Zdeno. And I think, someone must look like Zdeno. I never even thought to consider that this guy, here's the 8th mile right around the corner, if I recall, right?
Yeah. So here it's tough. This was a tough mile. I thought mile, this was a really tough. How far were you? I feel like we must have been really close. How relative to the 3:15 pacer? Where were you at this point?
I think I was slightly ahead, if I'm not mistaken, because I lost.
Okay.
I lost.
Okay. Well, I was behind.
Yeah,
Sorry, here I was slightly ahead, but at some point I got behind the 3:15. Like he was.
Yeah, but there's a 3:15 pacer for every corral, is there not?
Oh, maybe there's multiple 3:15 pacers.
Like I had a 3:15 in my corral, I had a 3:20 in my corral, I had a 3:25.
Yeah, same here. So there's more than one 3:15 pacer, is what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So there was here. It's not so bad here. Here was significantly uphill. People are going too fast, in my opinion. I guess maybe when you're a heavy guy, maybe it's different. I don't know. I feel like you should be like 20 seconds, at least 20 seconds a mile slower on an uphill, and like 20 seconds faster on a downhill. But
yeah, we probably do a little more than that, don't we?
yeah, I was doing. I was doing at least that, but I'd say people were a lot more like 10. Like they were. I think people have tendency to try to keep going the same speed, right? This was a tough part.
This is right. This is the 1 mile Lafayette.
Yeah.
You do about 1 mile in total.
Yeah, this is a super hard part. I'm
just thinking. So you're basically going straight. Like you're kind of going east now, right? We're going east.
Yeah, we're going east. Well, northeast, but mostly east. Yeah, almost straight east.
Yeah, because it's parallel to all those those streets in New York, right? It's one of those streets.
Yeah.
And this is the 1 mile that you get to do, kind of going. The only one, am I not mistaken? The only mile that goes east.
Yeah. So, do you think this street? We went to see Hamilton after this marathon.
Yeah.
You think this street was named after the guy that was in that show?
By the way, what a crazy day we did on the day that we ran this marathon. Charlie and I, obviously we got up at what time did we get up? 3 or something?
So early, I don't know. So
3,
early.
whatever.
3:30, whatever.
Staten Island. We saw the Statue of Liberty. We saw, Staten Island I'd never seen. We did the New York City Marathon.
Yeah.
Then we hung out in Times Square for a bit. We had lunch at one of those iconic screaming, what do you call that guy? Screaming maitre d' type, passive aggressive, right on the street, kind of in the middle of a boulevard. Then we went and played chess in.
But wait, we walked like 12K after the marathon.
I know. I have a 3-hour walk after my. It's a 3-hour walk that I recorded. So after the race, I just pressed start.
But here's the thing about that 10K walk that I discovered is, you don't feel like doing it, but if you do a 10K walk after a marathon, you're gonna recover so much better. I felt so recovered the next day.
Me too. I'm trying to think how long that walk was. I think it was like. I think I did like 12 kilometers or something. Just
I feel like it was at least 10. It was at least 10K we did after.
Yeah, I did 3 separate walks. It was right around 10K. So we went to Washington Park where they play chess in the park. And if you've ever seen the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer, that's kind of where Charlie and I started playing chess when we saw the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer. Our dad was a bit of a chess player. And we started playing chess when we were in high school, and we both kind of became half decent at it. And I went to nationals in Canada for 3 years, and Charlie was kind of a decent chess player. But anyways, we'd always wanted to do that, and we did that on this day.
Yeah, it was the best day, one of the best days of my life. One of, anyways.
I gambled with this guy. He's like $5 for one game, or we gamble for $20, and whoever wins keeps it. So I was like, all right, sure enough, he kills me. And then he takes my $20 and then he points to the other guy. You're still playing. You had like a 1 hour game against this guy. I don't know. I was playing like a lot of.
Well, I gave him a couple takebacks and then I still beat him in the end game.
But my second game I lost, but my third game I won, and I felt so good beating a guy, you know, in Washington Park. And then that was so fun. And then we went to see Hamilton.
Yeah, Hamilton, Lafayette, whose street was named after one of the characters.
Allegedly. The street that we're on. Hey, the Canadian flag. Did you see a Canadian flag?
Yeah, there's another guy with a Canadian flag, yeah. And Lafayette, a hero of two countries.
And then we went to see stand-up comedy at, what's it called?
Yeah, I missed that. I was too tired.
You were sleeping. What's it called? The Comedy Store? Not the Comedy Store. The Comedy Cellar.
Yeah.
Like where all the greats kind of go. Yeah. And we saw Jimmy Carr randomly. And to me, when we went to bed that night, I said, holy smokes, that's got to be one of the greatest days anyone could ever have. Like, those are like legit bucket item lists, like several of them. Seeing
I would highly recommend anyone that runs the New York Marathon to run the marathon and then just enjoy the city after. Don't rest, do stuff. It'll be amazing.
Don't rest, do stuff. It'll be amazing.
Yeah.
Here we are going due east on Lafayette. There's Zdeno Chara.
This is downhill now, I think. I think we're at the downhill section.
A little bit of elevation. I'll check my.
Be nice if we had the stats on the corner there. So this was my recollection of. Well, this is no wider than it's a bit further. Sorry, at some point I got stuck behind the A315 pacer, and it was super, super narrow. So I just had to stay behind him for like a mile. 66.17. Mile 9, you just said, yeah. So
mile 9. So yeah. So now we're about to turn. We're gonna go back. So this is kind of Clinton Hill here, I believe it's called, and we're approaching Classen Avenue and the stations, the C and the G line pass directly here.
The narrow stretch is coming up, I think.
The psycho narrow stretch where you feel like you're just gonna.
It feels like Tour de France. The guys going in front with the signs and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, this is.
And you can't pass or whatever.
Yeah, they have a bit of a downtown Brooklyn area that I didn't even know was a thing, but I guess they do. And we passed mile 9. We got about maybe a quarter mile before we turn onto what's the street you turn onto here?
I forget, Medford or something, or completely forget.
Yeah, but the next bridge is which bridge? It's
bridge is at 13. It's at 13. It's Pulaski, I think.
Okay.
That's where. So a story about when I got to just before I got to mile 13.
Yeah.
In my marathon, there was an incident between two other runners. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden they were just pushing each other. So this is how I could see how this could happen on this course, is that it's very, very, you're very, very crowded. So you could accidentally trip someone, or someone could accidentally trip you. And it could cause a fight. But if it happens to you, I would recommend not starting a fight, because that'll
words of wisdom. Words of wisdom from my brother.
Yeah. But I did see my first ever fight that I've seen during a marathon between runners.
See, look how tight it is here again, eh? It's just like
this was a tough one. I was trying to do the tight. I was on the left there. I was trying to do the tight left corners, but then people would slow down so much.
I'm like weaving in and out. No wonder I did so many extra meters. Weaving in and out. There's a checking the time. All right.
Yeah. Must be close to the narrow section.
Is there not a narrow section later, Charlie, as well?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not as narrow as this section, I think, coming up here. Like, this is the narrowest section by far.
Yeah.
Right here. You're getting to it. You're
this
almost
is
there.
Look at the people, like they're way inside the ropes here, way inside, like always felt like, see, I'm on the right, and then every once in a while I gotta move, right? Because people are in the way. They're way inside the ropes.
Yeah.
They don't seem to care too much. Okay, so we will turn on
15K, you just said, yeah.
Bedford. Bedford is the
Bedford,
avenue.
yeah. I said Medford, but yeah, Bedford. Okay.
Bedford is pretty close, Charlie.
Yeah.
You pass the Lafayette Gardens playground, and then you'll turn onto Bedford. And kind of the last, this is the furthest east, I'm pretty sure, right? In the whole marathon?
Yeah, furthest east, it would be this corner, right before you turn. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're basically going, we're going to turn, we're going to go north, and then we're going to go towards the area called Greenpoint. You're going to go towards Long Island City. You're going to cross the Pulaski Bridge, as you called it.
Yeah.
And then later on, around mile 16, is the Queensboro Bridge. Some exciting bridges.
What were you thinking about, like, at this point, nutrition, hydration wise, and like the temperature? So maybe.
Go ahead.
For me, everything was going to plan at this point. Everything was working out good. I mean, I don't know if I got my gels in right at the right time every time, but everything was to plan. I just grabbed as much water as I could. I think I could have drank a little bit more water, honestly, but
I definitely probably underdrank.
Yeah.
Because the problem with drinking water, as I'm sure you know, is like you feel like you never need it, right? Because I feel good. I don't need water. Like you just, so you kind of have to convince yourself that it's worth going into this chaos, grabbing a thing, taking a swig.
Yeah, it's very much a nuisance trying to drink water during a marathon. Like it takes an effort, right, to actually get it in.
Yeah, now it wasn't, to be fair, it wasn't when we were running like 4.5, when I was running like a 4.5 hour marathon.
Yeah. Slower we could technically stop and, just make sure you get your water. Like it's only a few seconds, but.
And I'm not trying to sound like, oh, we're going so fast that we can't drink water. I'm more kind of saying, it's not top of mind, right? So you're not thinking about it. So you feel good. So you're just, so I have to just kind of remind myself. So I don't know if I did it every aid station. I probably did every 2 or maybe 3 aid stations. I'd take like 1 swig of water. And then towards the end.
That's all you did?
Yeah, I probably wasn't drinking enough.
Oh, wow. I was going every aid station, and usually I would get at least like, a swig. But there were a couple times where it was like I made sure to drink the whole cup, but it was kind of hard.
Like I'm notorious for like when I do my Ironman, like I over drink on the bike, and I make sure I'm fully hydrated, and I just pee. I remember seeing these guys with no shirts and being like, "What the heck? We're allowed to run with no shirts?"
Yeah. No, had I known, that would have been.
I hate wearing a shirt when I run. Like I hate it.
Yeah.
And all these guys no shirt, and I know that most of the marathons I've run at, I think all of them, it's like very strict shirt only policy. Like.
Yeah, I was surprised to see so many people without shirts, because that would have been an option. That would have been a pretty good option, I think.
I get the bleeding nipples all the time, so for me it's like if I can go no shirt, it's a lot better. But I got the nipple guards now, nip guards they call them. Yeah. This guy's wearing, like, you got to really like Pergrito.
Soccer jersey or something. No, that might be his name. No, I don't know.
Oh, maybe that's him, yeah. I just, like, I can't imagine wearing a soccer jersey to run a marathon. My goodness.
He's running it pretty fast, too.
So aid station, I went in the middle here.
Yeah, I see your strategy here.
And then I'm like, hey, like, I don't know, did I drink this one?
So many cups on the ground. So many alpha flies.
Yeah, so I didn't even drink. Didn't even have anything.
You just skipped it, eh? I was like forcing myself. I was like, I didn't really feel like stopping because it's kind of a nuisance. The only one I didn't stop at was mile 25. I'm like, this thing's done.
You didn't need it.
Yeah.
So my heart rate around this point, 153, kind of still roughly where I want to be. About 16K in right now.
Yeah, I bet you I'm at 163. I'm like 10 higher than you always.
Yeah, I wish I would have. So again, I would have loved to run this. Oh, there's my phone. I don't know why I'm showing it. 10:27. Oh, I think I had saved a screenshot of like the pace chart conversion to miles to kilometer. I kept that on my phone. But I wish I would. I would love to do this marathon again, like fully trained and fully healthy. And I don't know. I don't know what I could do, but it was fun. And I don't know if I'll ever do it again because like you got to run a 2:58 to qualify for this thing. Like it's.
Oh, what's your goal for Boston? Patrick said, sorry, our coach sent me or asked me to say what my goal was, and I didn't really want to say. So what did you guys talk about?
No, I guess he doesn't care about me. He cares more about you than he cares about me.
He does love me.
You feel a lot of love? You feel a lot of love?
No, I don't know. I hope so.
What did you go?
I hope I'm not too. I put down 3 hours, even though I'm like, God, that was sick. I did like 2 miles at 6:40 pace today, and the whole thing needs to be 6:50. We'll see.
I want to do 3 hours as well, secretly. The only reason I want to do that is because you told me like 3 months ago that your goal was to break 3 at Boston. And I kind of parked that in the back of my mind since that day.
Well, so here's the thing. Compared to New York, I think for us, it'll be a lot easier. It's like the first 16 miles are downhill.
Okay.
But the next 5, there's 4 big hills that you have to climb. And then it's downhill from 21 to the end for Boston. So I feel like compared to New York, as we are really good downhill runners, it'll be to our advantage. Plus, I think I wasn't quite 100% for this one. So I don't know. I think it's possible. Stretch goal. Who knows?
I like going for it. Like I like trying for something. And like this morning.
But I mean, yeah. Exactly. Like knowing that's the goal. Like, I mean, you just try for it, right? Like, I don't know. I've never really gone into it like that, but except the 4-hour one, the first one we did, which was 4 hour. I knew like 6 months before that, I was like, we're doing 4 hours, or I was doing 4 hours, right? There was no ifs, ands, or buts. That was the goal. 3 hours is a lot harder though.
So when I did that 4-hour one with you, I had no goal because I want to say 8 weeks before I did like 4:56 or 4:48 or something, 4:48. And you were like, I want to do 4 hours. I want to do 4 hours. And I was like, can I do a 4-hour marathon? But I started training heavy there during that period. I was training pretty heavy. So I was like, can I do a 4-hour marathon? And you're like, yeah, you can do it. You can do it. So I just kind of followed you really.
Yeah.
And I didn't really have the goal to break 4 hours, but I'm glad I ran with you.
Yeah.
Are we going uphill here? We're going uphill a little bit, right? I noticed my heart rate's up to 163 now, 161, 163.
I think so, yeah. Which I forgot, I lost track. Which mile are we on now?
We are on roughly kilometer 17. So we're almost done mile 11 here.
Yeah. Sorry. So the narrow section is still coming up. We haven't gotten there yet.
That's
so
what
it's
I
more
thought.
like it's mile 12, that narrow section.
Yeah, so this area here, we just kind of crossed in between the Broadway Triangle and Brooklyn Navy Yard, and we're kind of coming up into South Williamsburg in this area here. And this is kind of on the river, on the East River, on the west side of the East River, all the way up, like following Manhattan kind of thing, all the way up to
you see, and there's no one, like, there's not a big, there's no crowds here right now. I really distinctly don't remember seeing any parts that didn't have crowds. So I guess I just must have skipped that mile in my head. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't. There's definitely the next stretch here up until Manhattan. And once you hit Manhattan, like it's game over, right? It's nonstop.
Yeah.
So there's kind of 3-4 miles till you turn onto Manhattan, I guess.
So this thing to be aware when you're running the New York Marathon is mile 12 here coming up is downhill, and it's very narrow. So if you're caught at the wrong pace, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, because you can't pass. Like it's very, very tough.
This was tough for me because it was downhill, and I usually go faster downhill, like compared to other people.
Look at this guy with the blade on his foot.
Yeah, I think he beat me. This guy.
Yeah,
there's at least one guy with one leg that beat me. I know.
Like at some point here, you passed.
This guy crying across the street.
Oh my god! Did he get hit? Oh my god!
I think so.
Jesus.
Just go slowly. People are gonna avoid you. That'd be the tip I'd give to someone trying to cross the street.
It's tough to cross this. I mean, you gotta pick your time and just go. Otherwise, you can never go. Otherwise, like this guy.
Yeah, I think you just gotta either you gotta make a break for it between two little groups, or you kind of just go slowly, so that people could avoid you.
Oh, there's a sign there for the bridge. There's a sign there. This is an overpass. This is
so this is an underpass. Did you have any issues with your devices when you were on bridges?
I didn't. I know you did.
Well, I think you did a little bit.
I might have, yeah.
Because I saw your data. But at the beginning, for me, it was off just because I was under the bridge. And then mile 16 was way off.
All right. Yeah, we're roughly into kilometer 18 here.
So that's why, like, actually, I got a good tip from another YouTube video was to, if you got like a Garmin or whatever, what you do is you just
narrow this is.
Yeah, this is the narrow part. But what I was gonna say is, if you got a Garmin for this marathon, is what you do is you take the auto lap off and you just hit the button every mile, and then that gives you your accurate pace for each mile, because when you're under the bridge, it's not going to be accurate. So mile 11. So you're done 11. This is the narrow. 11? Yeah, okay. You're almost at the narrow section now.
Yeah, so mile 11.
And this is downhill.
Yeah, we just passed the Williamsburg.
I can't believe we didn't see each other the whole way, because
I didn't even remember what you were wearing.
Yeah, just a tight white shirt.
Yeah, so I was wearing my Canadian flag, so you would have for sure seen me.
Okay, look how narrow. This is narrow.
This is the narrow, stressful part.
I remember here, and I was behind the 315 pacing group, and I was like, no, they're going too slow, because it was like after an uphill, it's up and then it's down, and I got caught behind. I just sprinted at some point to get by them.
If you were to just take this screenshot right here and ask someone like what he thought this was, they'd think it was the start of a marathon, right? But no, this is mile 11, and you can't move.
Yeah, it's mile 12, yeah.
Or mile 12, yeah. Well, I guess now there's a little bit of space, but there will be other spaces here in the next couple miles where that was Grant that we just passed. Yeah, okay. So we're going to pass North First Street and then Metropolitan, and we're kind of going north, still on Bedford, up towards McCarran Park.
Yeah. And then close to the Pulaski Bridge now, which was, to me, the bridge on mile 13 was surprisingly steeper than I thought it would be.
It's actually a small bridge when you compare.
It's a small bridge, but it's got a pretty steep grade. It's just not very long. Like, it's really uphill on the way in, and then it's good because on the way out, it's really not as downhill. So, but it's longer, right? So you get a short, severe uphill and then a long downhill after. This guy here trying to weave through, it'll be hard.
I took a Kleenex there. I think that's one of the first times in my life I've taken a Kleenex at a marathon, because people had like boxes of Kleenex out.
Yeah. Hey, you got snot on your nose.
Yeah, and I just took it.
Well, because the thing is, normal marathon, like, it's not this, like, sorry, I guess this might be a normal marathon, but all the marathons I've run in the past, there's enough room that you can kind of get rid of the stuff that's in your nose.
Yeah, you can spit, you can.
Yeah, without being worried about hitting people with it. But here it's.
No, you can't spit, you can't throw your snot. You're going to hit someone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
North 6th Street. Yeah, okay, cool. On the way to mile 12.
This was the fun part, yeah.
Yeah, because we're still on Bedford. Bedford turns, it goes around McCarran Park. Yeah, super narrow, super tough here.
So here I wasn't even thinking about being tired. I was just like, okay, how do I, like, it was just kind of, I was just being tactical, trying to figure out how to get through this, without spending too much energy, right?
I was stressed out here. I was like, not, I don't want to say not enjoying it, but like, just get me out of this tight. I guess I'm a little claustrophobic.
Yeah. I was a little too, like it was tight. But I was more worried about like, okay, now I'm running 740 miles. I'm supposed to be running 715. But because I got caught here, like I was like this guy here on your right trying to just squeeze by.
He can't get by.
He just got like he crashed into. That was me. Kind of me. That was kind of like me at this section.
That's crazy. This is what, North 9th Street. Yeah, so there's 3 more blocks of this before you turn. There's still an enjoyable experience. Like when you compare, Manitoba Marathon or some of the other marathons we've done, like you would never get this experience.
Yeah. So the downside is you're packed, but the upside is you're mentally engaged the whole time. Like it's
very mentally engaged.
Like you're not like bored, or you don't start thinking about how tired you are, because like there's so many other things going on that you don't even think about how tired you are at this point, right?
Yeah, it was the most. Look at these people. They're just trying to people are jogging over each other.
The elbows. Look at this guy just trying to get through. Like, oh God, I remember this part vividly.
Crazy.
This is surprisingly one of the most memorable parts for me.
Yeah, like I remember how I felt inside at this part.
Yeah.
And then we'll be turning here. We'll be turning around this park, I think. Yeah, or we're going through. Oh, I guess we went through the park, right through it.
Yeah. Well, I had passed here, and now I was in a good place because now I could run my pace when I got to here.
Now we'll be turning on Manhattan here soon. On Manhattan. Oh, that guy! I actually collided with that guy. That's the one time I collided with a guy. He cut me off. I remember this moment.
Yeah. He cut you off. It looked like.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden he was in front of you, and you're like.
Because that was zigzaggy, right? That guy was trying to zigzag, and I was just like, I kind of put my hands on his back. He's like, I'm so sorry.
I don't think I was very careful not to have collisions, but I think a couple times I came very, very close, even though I was very careful. Like, I think I had a bit more weight. I could have probably pushed people around if I had to.
Another water station. I don't know. Did I stop at this one?
I can't believe how little water you're drinking.
Did I grab some? I think I probably grabbed some.
Oh, there you grabbed it. Man, this is one thing that I can't believe how much I've improved at in my life. When I first started running a marathon, I thought grabbing a water thing was like the hardest thing ever while you're running. I would actually stop every time and walk because it was so hard. And now I got it down pat.
Well, remember when we did LA, we did 6 minute. There was a 10-mile stretch where we averaged 6 minute miles there.
Yeah.
And like 6 minute miles for me is very, very, very fast. Maybe some of you guys watching this are better, obviously, but for us. And I remember we were kind of stressed out about like.
Oh yeah, big time. We're like, how are we going to get water? I think we would actually slow down a little bit is what we did. I think.
But we still got it done. Look at this. Look at the crowd.
Oh, finally the guy got out of the. Man, I pity that guy with the black. The guy with the black. He's been trying to get through the crowd for. But you've been doing good. You've actually been doing pretty well in like avoiding like here. That guy was.
We turn on Manhattan here. Yeah.
You took the short turn here. You've been doing pretty good at like kind of not wasting too much energy and just. Mile 12, I remember mile 12 was a tough. Here, I think is where your video, we're going to skip ahead a little bit.
Right, because I ended up having to change the battery. So I was wearing a GoPro, as you guys could tell.
Yeah.
And my camera guy had told me your GoPro is good for.
But this was a really, sorry to interrupt your story, but this area here was a really nice area. Smooth, wide, tons of people. I love this part. Anyways,
I think it's called Greenpoint. I believe this area of Winnipeg, New York, is called Greenpoint. It's kind of like the little point just on the other side of Manhattan, just before getting into Queens, and just kind of north of Brooklyn. And it's
this is a really nice part of the course.
I would imagine that
the crowds. Yeah,
it's probably a wealthy area. I would think, right? It's right.
I would imagine. Yeah.
And anyway, so my camera, my guy told me it's good for 2 hours, 2.5, 2 hours. But just to be sure, I had 2 sets of batteries. To maybe switch it at like 2 hours. And I said, okay. So I started the thing before, and I checked it. The moment I was like, I should probably check to see how my battery life is. And I checked it, and I saw it died as I looked at it.
Okay, yeah.
So it went flashing and then dead. So then I had to change my batteries, and that was the biggest I had.
Yeah, that probably cost you like a minute, because I saw your pace for that mile. It's a bit
It
slower.
definitely slowed down. I definitely slowed down, and you know what? It's for the people, right?
It's for yeah. You got to do it. Is this a
for
blind runner, or what are these guys? Just a team, I guess.
They might be actually.
And then
You could see it start-
Spider-Man in front here.
Oh, there's a cut.
Yeah, we cut off. So that was like 4 minutes, I think.
We just missed about 4 minutes, so we're ahead.
You're coming on right to the half now.
Yeah, so I'm past the bridge, or no? I'll be just the bridge.
No, you're not at the bridge yet. You're getting. This is exactly where the fight happened. With me, This is almost exactly where that fight happened.
So this will be mile 13 here. This will be mile 13.
Yeah.
So we're now on McGinnis Boulevard, going pretty much straight north, otherwise known as Pulaski Bridge, McGinnis Boulevard. Yeah, just kind of coming up to it. And yeah, the 13 mile is
interesting.
On the bridge.
You've been this guy with the black that was trying to weave in is right at the same pace as you are for a while here. Yeah.
The guy in front?
Yeah, he's on the right now, but
like ponytail?
No, he's a bit further now, but okay, so 13. It's 13, not half. Sorry, so you were 1:35:35 is what you had said.
1:35:35 for the half.
For 13. Well, for 13, so it's like a minute more for the half, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember you had told me that, and I was like, oh, well, we were almost tied. Like I was 1:35:15 for the half.
Right.
At 13.1.
Yeah, this bridge, this is for me. It's when I realized that I wouldn't do a negative split during this mile.
Oh, really?
I felt it, and maybe it's
what I'm saying is, what I was saying about this bridge though is up it was pretty steep. Like even though it was very short, it was pretty steep up this bridge, and it took a lot out of me. Anyways.
There's the half.
So I had full intention. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna negative it, even if I thought I was gonna negative it by like a few seconds, but I was not able to. It's just a tough second half course.
I had 7 minutes or whatever. Like my heart rate here is 160 or whatever, and I knew now that okay, to push to get the same amount of effort, I knew that I'd have a hard time. And my legs were just started to really be painful here.
And actually, this is where the course gets really tough. It starts getting tough because there's a couple things that make it really tough. Is that there's all these turns now, like a lot of turns. Which
there's coming up here off the bridge. There's 2 sharp turns in a row.
And then there's another bridge, which is the toughest bridge on the course coming up. 16 Queensboro Bridge.
Right.
And then there's like it's just bridge after bridge now. Like so this was the second bridge and there's 5 bridges. So basically in the next 5 miles there's 3 more bridges plus there's a mile 24. So this is
there's the pacer.
That's the 3:15 guy.
7:26.
Yeah, that's 3:15, isn't it?
3:15.
Or 3:20. Or is that 3:20?
7:26 is
Let me just figure that out.
Yeah. Pull up my. There he was ahead of me though. So 7:26 is exactly 8 miles an hour, which makes a 3:15 on the nose. So that's the 3:15.
So only now that you passed, I was just slightly ahead of the 3:15 at this point.
But was that what your 3:15 guy looked like?
I don't remember. No, I don't think that was the guy.
Might have been a different guy, right?
I don't think that was the guy at all.
Yeah, because they for sure have more than one. They have to have one in each corral or whatever.
Yeah.
So now we're getting off the bridge here. We're going to be turning onto Jackson Avenue off the bridge. This is like a 140-degree turn.
So this is a kind of an easy section because you're kind of just coasting downhill.
Yeah, and then you're going to turn kind of south. Almost south, almost a full 180 here, if I recall. And based on the map that I'm looking at on the internet at the same time. It's still wide, very wide path here again. Less congestion, less fans also.
Yeah. So now we are in Queens, right?
Yeah. This is called Long Island City, I guess. This is the area of town that they call Long Island City. They call this Queens, yeah. And we'll be just a few miles in here.
Yeah, only a few miles, but like 5 turns in 2 miles. So there's a lot of turns here. It's kind of hard to get your rhythm. You're always trying to just find a place to run.
Yeah, and then a turn right away here again. We're turning on Vernon Boulevard. Vernon Boulevard, and we're going back. We're going to be going north. So, was that a sign there that I just missed?
Oh yeah, I think so.
That might have been.
So here, the sharp right.
Yeah, big sharp right.
So yeah, nice little. You got the nice line there. Pretty good line.
Kept thinking
that same girl that was there the whole.
Every time I was doing a line, Charlie, I was thinking of you saying, "You want to take those lines tight. You want to take those corners tight. You don't want to be taking them wide. It adds so many meters to your."
Yeah. Well, but what was more important for this marathon than that, which I realized, was just having the space, a bit of space in front of you, right?
Creating space, having space.
Yeah. So finding a line that you know you can run for a while.
Yeah. 47th Ave. Yeah. So this is mile 14 around here somewhere. Should be. Or maybe we passed it already.
I don't like. This is like a blank for me. These miles here.
It was quick, right? It was just 7-8 blocks turns, 7-8 blocks turns, couple blocks, boom, you're done.
I'm trying to remember what I felt at this point, but
there's a aid station.
I think I was just kind of trying to get back.
I'm drinking. No, I didn't. Oh, I did drink. Took a sip. Put it on my head.
I was 15 seconds behind at the half, but part of that was because it was right at the top of that bridge, the half, right?
Yeah.
So I was trying to get back on pace here. I remember, and remember it feeling a little hard.
They had porta potties there. Porta potties at mile 14. Would you ever? Have you ever stopped to pee in a marathon?
Yeah, I remember we did it. I did it 5 times when we were in. Was it Las Vegas? Well, Las Vegas and Phoenix. So, but I've learned that it's not that don't drink lots before a marathon.
Yeah, I don't touch water like an hour and a half before.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you want it out of your system before you're running.
Yeah, you want to hydrate lots the day before and stuff.
Yeah. If you have enough time to maybe drink 2.5 hours before, for whatever reason, if your marathon's at 6 or 7 and you're up then yes, but you can't be drinking 2 hours before, I think.
Unless you want to pee during your marathon,
unless you're okay with a pee, yeah.
Yeah, unless you're okay with peeing, yeah.
If you don't want to pee, yeah. So now we are going. Have we turned yet on 44th East?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, this part is. I knew we were coming up to Manhattan, but I didn't. You knew the map way better than I did. I was just kind of.
Well, yeah, I knew we were gonna get to Queensboro Bridge here soon, so I was actually mentally preparing myself at this point. I remember because I knew Queensboro Bridge. Everyone had said it was from what I had heard, would be one of the toughest parts of the marathon, and it was a really hard part. But
Yeah,
I took it very easy up there.
This is a little point kind of. Now we're going to be turning, or we have turned here, back kind of towards, because we got to get on the Queensboro Bridge.
But there's a long lead up, and the whole lead up is uphill, and then you
Yeah.
get on the bridge, and it's uphill.
Yeah, there's 10 blocks. 10
Basically,
blocks
you're like a mile and a half uphill.
Yeah, the total distance is about a mile and a half in that line, including the bridge in total. Spider-Man's got to
fix his wedgie.
crack. Yeah, something's going on with his wedgie. A lot of Spider-Man, actually. Saw a bunch of Spider-Man. So those high rises, like that's, I guess, downtown, whatever. Downtown. No, it's the opposite side, isn't it?
Oh,
So,
downtown
of
I guess Queens.
Queens, or I guess downtown Queens. They got high rises too, bigger than Winnipeg.
Yeah.
This temperature that so you asked me earlier about the temperature and how I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought, like, obviously the perfect temperature for us, we're Winnipeggers, we're Canadians, we're used to cold weather. I like 6, 7, 8 degrees Celsius, which is like kind of low 40s, or no, sorry, high 40s.
Yeah, 45 maybe.
Yeah. For running, that's kind of what I love. What do you recall what it was on this day? It was hotter than that, obviously. It started at
I think it ended being around 20 Celsius.
Yeah.
Which
is like 70.
But it started off maybe 8 Celsius, which would be, I don't know.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect weather for.
Yeah. So I like it colder, even colder. Like, especially, it depends on the time of year, but let's say, so for us, I've been running outside all October in Winnipeg, and it was much colder. So this felt a little warm for me.
Okay, so this is where we're turning on Crescent here, and we're getting ready to get on the Queensboro, 4 or 5 blocks, and then you get on the Queensboro thingamajig, Queensboro Bridge. Yeah, the weather I thought was great, provided an opportunity to do like really good time.
Yeah, it was really good weather.
How do you feel about the emphasis that they had at the New York Marathon on the majors, like the Abbott majors or whatever they're called? And does that mean anything to you personally?
I mean, I think they're all nice cities, and
no shirt. Another no shirt.
No shirts. God. So we're gonna run Boston. We're gonna have 2 out of the 6, so it's a good start. I don't know. It doesn't mean that much to me. I feel like, I mean, it means something, but I think each one of those marathons by themselves would be an amazing experience, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they've made it a thing. They had, like, they were celebrating the individuals after the race that had completed there are 5 majors currently, and they're adding Australia. Is that right?
No, there's 6 right now. So the 6 are there's 3 in the US: Chicago, New York, Boston. And then there's London, Berlin, and Tokyo.
Okay.
So 2 in Europe and then 1 in Asia. I guess that's why they want to get one in every continent. I guess they'll get one in Australia and they'll get one in South America at some point. It's a bit of a gimmick, like, you know, like I feel like it's a bit of a gimmick, but at the same time, it would be pretty cool to do those 6 marathons, right?
I just passed another aid station without drinking water. What was
it? I can't believe how little water you're drinking. It's ridiculous.
It's a mistake if you're watching it. I guess I was more nervous. Usually my hydration plan is tighter, and this is not like me. Maybe I was just so overwhelmed with the whole thing and like.
Yeah. Okay. So here, I think the lead in to the Queensboro Bridge gets tough here. No crowd.
And we had driven on this on the way in, right?
I think we drove on it. Yeah. I remember because everyone was talking about New York City and all the sites they were seeing. I'm like, this is mile 16 of. I was just talking about the race.
Yeah, so this is about a mile and a quarter, mile and a half or so till you get to Manhattan. You're gonna pass over the island there. What's the name of that island? There's kind of an island in between. Roosevelt Island.
Yeah.
Roosevelt Island, and then gonna turn on first half.
So the thing that makes this part of the course really tough is that the uphill is extremely long. So you're running uphill for a long time, and then the downhill is extremely severe after, and it's short. So you're not going to really make that much of it up because, well, you will make some of it up, but it's just going to be hard because it's going to be severely downhill. And then there's no one around here, so.
Yeah, you're by yourself. Yeah. Is there two kind of running lanes here, or is there only just this one lane where people are running?
No, it's just the one. Yeah.
Okay. And
so
then
I squeezed myself on the left. I moved around here a lot. Here, there's a couple times where I was a little stuck. I mean, especially on the downhill. Once we got to the downhill, people were running really slow compared to what I was doing.
Yeah, you want to bolt. You want to go. And there's a little loop-to-loop at the end. You have to do the cloverleaf kind of around to get back on.
Yeah. I knew there was that sharp. I knew that was going to be a thing where a super sharp turn once you're down.
Like 4 in a row, right? Because you go left.
Left. Basically, you're doing a whole cloverleaf kind of all the way around.
Yeah, I had no clue. But I remember this part thinking like, okay, how many bridges have I done? And I kept thinking like, this was the third. And I was like, there's still 2. And I was trying to figure out where the other bridges would be. But obviously now I know you're over on the north side and then one coming back.
Yeah, to go to Bronx and then one on the way back. So those bridges, from everything I had read, was that everyone told me those bridges aren't that hard, like relative to this bridge. Like this bridge is definitely the hardest bridge. But when you're trying to hit a pace and you're at mile 20 and 21, those last 2 bridges are on 20 and 21, it gets pretty hard. Even though they're easy bridges, when you're fresh, they'd be easy. But at the end, when you're tired, that's where I lost my pace and couldn't get back on it. Those last 2 bridges.
Yeah, here I knew. I was like, oh, my pace had slowed down quite a bit here. And I was like, oh my God, this.
But you're not, I think you're pretty close here. Like you were, from what I.
Or I could start, all right, so this is kilometer 20, kind of 24.
Yeah, mile 15. You're on mile 16 right now. You finished 15 miles.
Yeah, so, okay, no, these kilometers are still not bad. 440, so mile 20, kilometer 25 and 26, 449 and 502, my only kilometer above 5.
Yeah. But it could have been the uphill one, right?
It could have been, yeah, for sure.
So I think I did mile.
That messes with you though, right? Because I
was. Yeah, I guess I was expecting it. I was prepared anyways. But yeah, it does mess with you for sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Because you think, oh, 430. I'm just gonna keep doing 430s, and then you do a 502, and you're like, what the heck just happened? Like, I guess you don't really feel the uphill that much. Would you say you don't feel it when you're actually running it?
I feel it. I don't know. I feel it more than you, I guess, maybe.
Do you think it felt like 30 seconds per kilometer uphill or whatever, or like a minute per mile uphill?
Well, so when I was, I mean, I guess depends, but I knew I was going to go slower, and I knew that to not worry about it. Like I had told myself before, I'm like, when you do the uphills, go slower, and don't worry if it's 30 seconds slower than what you expect it to be. Like I had already told myself that before. So like mile 9, mile 8, I think it was 8 or 9. I knew it was going to be slow. I was slow. This one, I think I was like 8-minute mile for this one. But I was expecting it, so I don't know.
166 heart rate here. It's kind of the highest.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you go slower, but your heart rate's still going up, so that means you're actually putting more effort, even though you're going slower. And then you'll see your heart rate will be lower when you go downhill, even though you're going like 6-minute miles.
No, I know that now, right? But I'm saying at that time, in the moment, it's not how I felt.
No, I could understand that. Like, cause you feel how hard your feet are hitting the ground, right? And you feel how.
And we should pass mile 16 here any minute, or we've already passed it. I'm not sure, but
no, I think it's a bit further. Yeah.
But the thing with preparation for a race, and you and I are different, but it would have been valuable for me to prepare better for this race. It would have been, because so anyone who's watching this video right now, you're probably watching it because you're preparing for this race, or you really, really like the New York Marathon. But I would argue that just the fact that you're doing this right now, you're going to be much, much, much more prepared for this bridge than I ever was. And you're going to be in a way better space mentally when you come to this bridge.
And back to to me, the key point there is like, you need to know that some miles are going to be slower because they're uphill, and you need to be fine with that. And just realize that you're going to make it up slowly, not all in one shot, but on the downhills and the flats a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like when we ran LA.
Yeah. Like our mile three, we did super slow, right?
Yeah, you had kind of told me before we're going to be a minute to a minute and a half slower on mile 3 and then mile 6, and then we drove the entire course the day before with my dad. We took meticulous notes. We knew about the town. We knew about the ups, the downs, and then we knew which miles were really down. And I was just like, I was so ready for that race. I didn't care that we did a slow mile 3 because I knew
you knew we were prepared, and you knew we were going to get it back. I think
that was 25K. That was
25K. Yeah, okay, 25K.
Yeah, I knew I was going to get it back. I knew that. I just felt ready for that race, and way more than for this one. For this one, I was just like, I'm going to New York. I'm going to run a marathon.
Well, I think that race will always be a special one. That one in LA, because for both of us, well, for me anyways, because it was like the race that we were going to qualify for Boston, right? And it was like something we had prepared for so long, that like, even though this was a great race and a great result for me, I wasn't as amped up for it, let's say, than that other one.
We spent a lot of hours and weeks with one sole goal, one sole build up, where I wasn't eating any chocolate of any kind. Like, everything was just geared towards that one thing, which was qualifying for Boston. Nothing else mattered in my life. It's like, it was the most important thing. I was reviewing the race. So why am I zooming back and forth here? Why am I going on this corner? Anyways, so yes,
tough. It was tough, man. It's tough to know what to do here. Like, especially here, you had the same problem I did. You're going downhill now?
Yeah, and I'm way faster than everyone.
Yeah, same problem I had.
Look, they're struggling. The people, they're struggling.
Yeah. We're such good downhill runners.
Which is why we did so well and like, those are downhill races. We did the Bear, what's it called, Big Bear in LA? Or no? Big Bear was in LA or Las Vegas?
Yeah, Big Bear, it was LA.
Yeah, Mount Charleston was
this is very similar to how I was doing it. I remember, That's why you were weaving, because you had to get through. People are running so slow down the hill.
And I thought, okay, I got to make up the time, right, that I lost. I kept thinking, I got to make up the time that I lost on the way up. I got to pass these people.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is still the bridge. It's still the bridge. And my kilometers 20 to 25 ended up being 23:36. 23:36.
That's not bad.
I haven't slowed down yet, but the next 5K slowed down, or actually the one after I slowed down. This is still not bad.
This is where, to me, this is where I felt like, this feels good. So I maintained my pace up to mile 19. This is where, though, for me, like 16 to 19, where it was like I felt like it was like a struggle to kind of keep it, right? Like, I felt like I was working hard now all of a sudden, just to kind of keep my pace, as opposed to before, where it wasn't easy, but I felt like it was doable,
Right.
So 16 right here.
There's 16, yeah. And I checked my watch.
So this is where, like, I knew I was like, I checked my time, and it was like, okay, I'm 25 seconds behind. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. Do the next 3 miles like 10 under the pace, and then I'll be right back on track. But that's exactly what I did. But man, it took a lot of effort.
Yeah. So now this is the little loop to loop. You're off. You're gonna return, and then you're gonna do a little bit here, and then you turn again. On
what about the crowd? What about the crowd coming out of that tunnel?
I don't remember.
Oh, it was so loud. You could hear it like you were still on the bridge, and you could hear the crowd.
Yeah, and this is what I would argue is kind of what people's vision of the New York Marathon is, the last stretch on Manhattan, and it kind of starts after this tunnel here. So now you're under the bridge. You're under the Queensboro Bridge, and you're about to...
Well, now you're in Bronx. We're in Bronx now.
No, this is Manhattan.
Oh, we're still in Manhattan, right? Sorry, there's like... Yeah, you're right. So there's like 3 miles till we get to Bronx. Yeah.
Yeah, you do...
so this is actually a cruising section. It's slightly downhill.
No, this is like, you know, you're in Manhattan here. Like to the left there is Central Park. Our place was not too far from here.
This is Fifth Avenue, isn't it? No.
First Ave and
First Avenue, yeah.
At 59th Street.
This is where my wife was. This is where my wife was watching. Somewhere here, we saw each other. Yeah.
This is.
She said she saw you. She said she saw you. So I'll see.
She said she screamed at me, and I didn't hear.
It should be close to here.
Look at the people though. Like there's 8, 6, 12 deep. Like he's at some spots, right? Like people are over themselves to try to get a spot.
Okay. Well, she's at 96th, so that's where you'd have to see her.
Okay, so 96. We're coming up. So this is like if you wanted to watch this race, and you wanted to just kind of go to 2 spots, the easiest would be somewhere between miles 16 and 19. And then you just zoom across to Central Park, right?
Yeah, that's what my wife did. So my wife was at 98th Street.
See, I almost hit that guy, right?
Yeah. That's why people zoom in front of you, right?
Yeah. So yeah, you could easily pick, let's say 96. She picked 96. That's a good spot. And then you do 7 blocks directly west, and you just go to Central Park.
Yeah, so we had decided 96 strategically because I in my head the hardest part of this course was going to be mile 24, and so she would see me right before mile 24.
Okay, it wasn't because of Pavel Bure. No, who's 96? I'm trying to think. Pavel Bure was 96. Yeah.
No, Datsuk.
No, I'm pretty sure Pavel Bure is 96.
No, Pavel Bure was. Oh yeah, maybe he was 96. Yeah.
Yeah, I just Googled it, so yeah. Look at these people; it's so good. And this is like Manhattan, right? So like.
Yeah, this is great.
Big crowds, over top of the barrier. Like they have to have barriers here because otherwise.
Yeah. These streets were all closed off, so it must have been a nightmare for people to get around. But
yeah, but I mean, it is on the extreme east end of the island, right? So it's like, and it's Sunday morning. But yes,
but so 1st and 5th were blocked off.
Yeah, did they actually? Oh yeah,
for 8 hours.
Yeah, but 5th really wasn't that much, right? It was only like 2 miles.
Yeah. Well, when you get back, you're at 22.
Yeah,
you go 22 to 20. Yeah, like 2.5, 3 miles, maybe.
No, it's only it's less than 2 miles on the way back.
Okay.
But regardless, it's they probably closed off more than just that stretch, right?
Yeah.
I like this part. I knew that I wasn't going to do a good time, but I was starting to get at peace with it already here, even though like we're still 10 miles away from finishing. But this is like you're taking it in here, I thought. Do you remember the elevation here, Charlie?
You're slightly going downhill here.
Yeah.
I don't know the elevation number, but yeah, you're going slightly downhill here. So, like I said, like after I got to mile 16, I knew I was about 25 to 30 seconds behind my pace. But mile 16 was right after the big climb on that bridge, right? So my goal was to gain 10 seconds a mile here for the next 3 miles. And that's exactly what I did, but I was pretty tired after that.
Yeah, I mean, marathons are not that easy, right?
No, but I thought it would be easier because I was like, okay, this section's downhill, right? So 10 seconds a mile should be no problem.
72nd Street. So I think we would have just passed 17 or... recently passed 17, or 17's around here somewhere.
Yeah.
And then this is kind of past the Lenox Hill and towards the Upper East Side and towards Yorkville. We're going north up Manhattan Island, and you're going to go all the way to the next bridge, which is the, what do they call it? The Willis Avenue Bridge.
Is it Willis? Yeah, there's a Willis and there's a Madison. I forget which one's which. But
yeah, Willis is the first one, and then Madison's the second one. But this is just to go back to your comment about the majors, because I asked about the majors.
Yeah.
You said, it's a little bit manufactured. Maybe you might feel that way. I kind of agree with you, but yet I'm still going to want to do them.
Yeah. No, I exactly. Because each one of them will be an amazing experience.
Think how unreal this was. Right?
This New York City Marathon experience that we had, you're just in one of the greatest cities in the world, and it's just amazing. I don't know. It's just a great day.
Tough to
even though I missed my goal by 1:40.
Yeah, but
it's a great day.
Let's be honest, Charlie. You qualified for Boston, right?
Yeah, so this was a legit Boston qualify, so not an easy course, New York, and so I qualified for Boston. Yeah,
right, by 9 minutes.
Yeah, for 2025.
Because you're 1,000 years old now, and you get to run.
I'm really old. So when you get old,
you get to run with a king. Do you get your walker? You're gonna get your walker for that one.
Yeah.
I'm just jealous that I don't have a real Boston qualifier yet. I'll get one. Oh, there's mile 17.
17, here we go.
Mile 17, and just people still lined up, 3-4 wide everywhere, just trying to get a glimpse.
So interesting how the same people kind of pop in and back, back and forth. Haven't seen that girl in 10 miles, and now she's back.
Yeah, if this means that they also struggled with their pacing, if we're seeing people, because I'm slowing down now, right?
Yeah. One of the things I noticed is that even though I was slowing down,
you were
a lot of people were slowing down more than me at this point here.
Yeah, it's an experience that you get older and you think, what do you want to do in life? What matters? What's fun? What's not fun? This is an experience that you just, for me, I felt like you can't put a price on it. It was so.
Yeah. So I think the next one. So we're gonna do Boston.
Yeah.
Chicago we can do anytime.
But Chicago would 3:20 or something to qualify.
Yeah, but it's close.
Chicago, I'm not that excited about, but I'm sure it's going to be incredibly special.
The thing with Chicago is you can run a good time, right? Yeah. It's in October. It's flat. You could probably run it. It's a PR type of course, right?
Yeah.
Chicago, there's London, Berlin. I don't know which one, and Tokyo. Maybe Tokyo. But the only way to get into some of these is you're gonna have to do the vacation or the tour, marathon tour or something,
or the charity bib, right?
Yeah.
So,
but
go ahead.
That's always the way. The loophole is the international tour, I guess.
Yeah. We're at 82nd there, so this is kind of around the part where we're gonna enter Central Park on the way back. So we're now going north, obviously. Northeast, I guess, and on the way back is kind of around here where we enter Central Park. We have to go all the way to about 126th, so there's another 30 or so blocks that you're going north, and then so what are you trying to say? You'll do that one next? That's the one you'll do?
No, I don't know which one I'll do next. I don't know. I think if I had to pick right now and I could do any one, I think it would be the Tokyo one. Just because it'd be different. It'd be very different. I was
talking to a fellow Peg City Ironman member. We have a little Ironman club in Winnipeg. There's 4 of us in the club. Dwayne. And
Two of us are brothers.
2 of us are brothers. Yeah, that's okay. He's running.
No, it should be 5. Is Bryce not in it? Yeah, we're 5.
Oh, he could be in our club. Yeah. Have we asked him?
I'll tell him. He was serious, by the way. Remember when? So side story before you get to your story is the 2026 New Zealand. He was serious about that. So
I have not even heard about that. I didn't know he wanted to.
No, remember he said he sent a text. When's your next Ironman?
Yeah.
And we said like I don't know when's yours, and he said January 2026. Or sorry, New Zealand 2026.
That's like 2.5 years away.
Yeah. Bryce plans in advance.
Okay. So, and yeah, he does well, and he's regimented in his training, and he's a little different than me for sure on that front. So yeah, we'll put Bryce in the club too. So there's 5 members, and Sive will be soon. As soon as he does his Ironman, we'll have 6 members of the. Anyways, I saw him. He's running 3 of them in 2024. So
Dwayne loves his marathons.
He's healthy. He's healthy for the first time in a while, so he's really excited. He's running Berlin, and that's the race that. What's the guy's name? 2 hours and 37 seconds. He's trying to break 2 hours. No, the other one.
Kelvin Kiptum.
Kiptum? I barely know him.
Yeah. But so
he'll be there. He'll be there running the same race.
It'd be a good battle between Dwayne and Kelvin.
I'm not saying Dwayne has a chance, but I'm saying imagine doing the race where the guy broke the 2 hours.
Yeah, that would be amazing. You could say
like in 20 years or whatever.
That same one.
Like when Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile, like I ran with him. I was there. Not quite the same, but
I mean, I was going half his speed, but
Yeah, but you know what's cool about this sport compared to like NHL or NFL or like we can actually. You could never say I played in the same game as Patrick Mahomes threw 4 TDs, but here you could say that, right? You could say I ran the race the same day as same course, same conditions, same everything. He beat me by an hour and a half, but still. I think that's pretty cool. So we're at what street are we at here?
90 close to Cheryl here. Yeah, we're going to see my wife soon.
So this is not too far from the asphalt green outdoor basketball courts right on the East River. This is in Yorkville. We're passing right through Yorkville here, which is a bit of a nice part of New York. Well, what's not nice in New York?
This is a really nice part to run as well because it was extremely wide.
Yeah.
It was nice and smooth. This was a very nice part. First Avenue. Your legs are sore. Your legs are sore. Yeah, well, you've done 18 miles.
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to pass Stanley. Oh, so Cheryl will be right at Stanley Isaac's.
I think she's somewhere around here. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember.
They have some courts and stuff. Okay, then have you decided then? Okay, so you haven't decided what you're. Sorry to change the subject about what.
I think What have you decided? So you're doing a marathon in a couple.
I'm doing Huntington Surf by the City Beach Marathon, Feb 4th. Then I'm doing Boston. Then I'm doing. I was gonna just stick around here in Winnipeg and do a bunch of like summer triathlons and Winnipeg Marathon and kind of whatever's around here. Maybe an ultra or something.
Yeah.
And then I was going to do could maybe be talked into doing an Ironman again. I had told myself I would park the bike and never ever take it out, and but I might do that. But then in January 2025, not to sound like Bryce, because that's like 50 years away from now, I'm doing 7 marathons, 7 days, and 7 continents. So I'm doing Antarctica, Cape Town, Sydney, Dubai, Madrid, Colombia, Miami.
So is that a tour that you can buy?
It's a tour. Yeah. They have a charter.
Must not be too expensive.
It's pretty cheap. Yeah. It's
pretty cheap. I just fly you to a different continent every day.
But the cool thing is you have to do it in 168 hours. So there's mile 18. So we're kind of just Cheryl's around here somewhere.
We have she's around here where there's orange. I don't know. We missed it. That's okay.
Yeah. Who knows where took a gel.
Took a gel.
No water though, I bet you. Or do I go get water?
Who needs water for a marathon?
Oh, I did take water.
Oh, there you go. You got some water. Oh, down the hatch.
Down the hatch. Well, I wanted to wash down the gel. But so then I'm doing so I paid for 2 spots. So I don't know, my wife might come with me if she's recovering from an MCL surgery. So she's got a year to recover and jog. Otherwise, I don't know who I'll bring, but I paid for 2 spots. How about you? What are you doing this summer? Are you doing an Ironman? Have you decided on that Ironman?
I'm not 100% sure. Boston for sure.
Were you thinking of Lake Placid at all?
No, Lake Placid's too hard. I don't want to do a hard one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do an easy one. I'm gonna do an easy Ironman.
Why don't we do?
I'm gonna do Arizona,
Tucson or whatever in November.
Tempe in November.
Yeah,
that was my that's what I'm thinking right now. I'm not 100% sure. So the reason for Tempe is it would be in November, which it would be perfect for allowing me to train the whole summer.
No shirts. Still a bunch of no shirts.
Yeah, no shirt. So allowing me to train all summer and then doing like this time I want to train for my Ironman, not like last time. Just kidding. I trained lots. Train more. I think I know more what to expect. So I want to do a lot better because I think you got to train the run. You got to train the run more. You got to train the bike. But
less swimming.
Swimming, yeah, you got to train the swimming lots too. So anyways, I got to train lots.
If I'm doing another Ironman with you, if I'm doing that one with you, I'm not getting into the pool. Or like
I'll be ahead of you after the swim. Perfect.
Once a month max. Once a month max. I hate swimming with a passion.
You know what it is though for me is I really realizing I love biking so much.
You're a good biker.
Yeah.
Why are you so much a better biker? Is it more practice or is it just better stroke or is it just, I don't know, shorter
legs?
I'm
not that much better. I beat you like 10 minutes last Ironman.
I know, but you came from no practice, no biking to beating me pretty quick. Like I'd been training for a year. Like I had a year ahead of you, right?
Yeah.
Anyways. I beat you on the swim by a few minutes, so yeah.
Yeah. But you killed me on the run, like so.
I killed you on the run, yeah. You went too hard on the bike and you didn't have any.
Yeah, that's probably why I just went too hard on the bike. So we're probably equal bikers. I just went too hard.
Yeah, maybe. I do love like the thing I love, one of the things I love the most in the whole planet is doing that marathon after the Ironman, after the bike. Like it's
yeah. That's so much fun.
I'm not kidding. It's I actually like it. Like because I look forward to it.
Well, because
the bike is so torturous.
You've done it 3 times already.
4,
yeah.
I enjoy that I enjoy that jog. I actually do.
Yeah, I remember thinking, I have to do a marathon now? 26.2 miles? Are you effing me? Kidding me? And then I just started running, and like I was doing decent. It's one thing that's really hard to prepare for is a marathon in an Ironman.
Yeah, after
mentally
after the longest bike ride of your life at the hardest level that you've ever pushed.
Your first
after
one,
the longest swim of your life.
It's really hard to mentally prepare you for yourself for that.
Yeah, that's why. But okay, you've heard me say this before. Where are we at here? 109th Street. So we're approaching the Thomas Jefferson Park, which will be on the right here soon enough. But every time you do a new distance or a new kind of pushing limits to yourself, that first time is impossible, right?
Yeah, it's like your first marathon, right? Like you don't really know what you're doing at all, right?
Yeah, but that second one's a lot better. The
second one you improve, like you gain
mentally.
Like 90% of the knowledge you're going to gain in your life.
Yes, yeah, just by doing this second. And then that's how I feel. Like I did my first ultra and it was like, holy shit, I wasn't ready for it. Then the second one I understood a lot better. Same with Ironman. And so now I kind of know what to expect in the Ironman. So I enjoy the run because I know I'm going to finish. I know it's going to get done and I know it's going to feel unreal at the end. And it's kind of like you're preparing to celebrate. It's kind of like a parade almost.
Yeah.
And the bike is behind me, and now I can just focus on what I'm good at.
So at the Ironman that I did do, I had about 20 seconds of thinking I wasn't going to finish it.
Really?
It's the only time it's ever happened to me in a race where I thought I wasn't going to finish it. So what happened was I just cramped my legs and I couldn't move. Anyways, so I just started moving. I just started walking and it slowly came back.
The best, as miserable as I was at the Ironman World Championships, so I participated in the Ironman World Championships. It was a disaster of a day. It took me 14 hours and 48 minutes and it took me 9 hours on the bike. I went back to our buddy, our Canadian, Tyler Mislachuk, Canadian, elite, top-ranked Canadian triathlete, 20 seconds of courage. I asked him, what's your best piece of advice you can give kind of an amateur athlete when the going gets tough? And he says, look down deep inside and just tell yourself 20 seconds of courage here. Go for 20 seconds and reevaluate. And after 20 seconds, well, if you need to do it again, and do it again. And eventually get over it. And I think I did like 30 minutes at 20 seconds of courage.
Oh,
but
I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
I loved it. I love that advice that he gave. It's really, really good advice.
Yeah.
We're at 115th Ave. You're still relatively flat. The elevation is almost zero because we're so close to the ocean, to the Harlem River here. This is the Harlem River.
Yeah, I'd say this is where it might start getting hard. Once you get to the Bronx. So New York City Marathon doesn't start till you get to the Bronx. That's the story here. So we haven't really started the marathon yet.
It's kind of like the Masters.
Yeah.
It doesn't start till the back nine.
Yeah, it doesn't start till you get to the Bronx.
What's your line always, Charlie? About a marathon?
It's not my line. I copied it. So,
you can copy lines. It's okay.
Yeah, but marathon is a 20-mile jog or a 20-mile easy jog and then a 10K run at the end.
Yeah, and we're about to start the 10K run because we're at
19. Yeah, so everything's been easy so far. Smiles and apples.
Smiles and apple.
I don't know. Smiles
that's
and
an expression.
So the thing about marathons is they're hard. But this is where they get hard.
Yes, they are.
This is where they get hard.
There's almost no elevation here. We're at like 4 feet of elevation. This is the lowest, I think, in the entire marathon. 4 feet of elevation.
Yeah, so this is bottom. So you're feeling good here because you kind of just walked. You ran on First Avenue, slightly downhill for like 3 miles. So this is an easy section. You're feeling good, but this is where it gets hard.
I can't believe 4 feet of elevation. Yeah, because the Harlem River is like right to the right, 120th Street. Yeah, we're about to enter. Kind of, you can see the bridge maybe like a quarter mile ahead, half a mile ahead.
Yeah.
And then the very short jaunt in the Bronx, eh? Actually,
very short in the Bronx, lots of turns. But what makes that section to me really hard is that basically you get a bridge, and they're both easy bridges, but you're tired, right? You're 20 miles in, usually where you hit the wall, right? You get a bridge, you run like a mile, and then you get another bridge. So it's like if you're trying to hit a pace, it makes it hard to stay on pace because it's like back to back. You haven't recovered from the first bridge or fully recovered yet.
What did you think of the gift that they gave us, the 2 gifts that they gave us to do this race? 3 gifts, I guess. They gave us the toque. Did you keep the toque?
I haven't seen that toque. I don't remember. Maybe.
No. So I threw mine off at the first mile, but guess where I saw it?
What, you got a toque at the beginning, at the start, or what?
Yeah, did you not get one?
Oh, I was way too hot to wear a toque.
I know, I wore it and then I debated, what do I do with this? Do I keep it? I kind of like the toque. It was orange and blue.
So maybe we should explain that we're Canadian.
A toque is a hat. It's a knitted hat that covers your ears and keeps you cold in very, very freezing winter temperatures. But I did the Full Moon Bear half marathon here in Winnipeg last couple of weeks back, and I saw a guy wearing the toque.
Yeah. Hey, I did a jog the other day in Winnipeg. I saw a guy wearing the New York City Marathon shirt from this year.
It must be the same guy. Is he Asian?
He was Asian.
Shorter guy, older gentleman?
Really fit. Like it was pretty far. I saw him from across the street and I waved. I was like, hey, New York City Marathon.
I went up to him. I go, dude, you ran the marathon. And he goes, hey, yeah. I think he said he was a bit of a far away. I think he said something like, I saw you there or something. So I guess he knew that we were there or something, that you and I were there. I guess Winnipeg's a small community. Yeah. So anyways, he had a toque. So the toques were really nice. I didn't get to keep them. He said he put it in his back and he carried it the whole race.
You got to keep that toque.
He wanted the toque. Then they gave us the shirt, the finisher shirt. This is the bridge here, by the way. This is Willis Avenue.
So not too bad. It's not too bad of a bridge, but going up, you feel it, man.
Yeah, your elevation.
Some guy here was dying pretty much. Like I was worried about him.
Oh, okay. I saw him. Yeah, so there was paramedic by the time I got
there. I saw him go down and I'm like,
I think we're gonna pass him soon. Am I mistaken? Or is it this bridge? It's this bridge, right? I think we're gonna pass him.
Yeah.
A guy who's suffering for sure. But okay, so this bridge, I remember it being a decent view from each side.
Yeah, it was a good view for sure. Yeah.
Because now you're going northeast still, and you're going towards the Bronx.
Yeah.
But here again, I knew disheartening feeling of knowing that you're not going to make your time. But I still you know what? I'm just going to.
I was still hoping here at this point. Like for me, I was like, well, mile 19, I was right on pace, but you saw how those were like the 3 easy miles, and then here you go up again.
There's the guy.
There's the guy. Yeah, I saw him. I was really worried about him. I was still hoping here that I could kind of, I knew I'd lost about 20 seconds going up the bridge, and I was hoping I could make it up, but it was just so hard at this point. Look at people walking, right? Like it's hard.
And these people are doing the same pace as us, right? So like they're these are pretty fast marathoners that are choosing to walk. There's quite a few. It's not just like that's.
And this is downhill here, and you're walking downhill. I think you're downhill already. It might be still uphill. I don't know.
No, I think it's still uphill.
Yeah, it looks still uphill. Yeah.
But it's it's also the wall, right? It's also mile 20. It's also
it's the wall. So New York has very strategic bridges here. And then there's another bridge a mile later, right? So
very little known fact about New York is they actually, when they were doing the city planning back in the 1700s, 1600s, they actually planned to have the bridges split out for the marathon.
Yeah.
Strategic planning with the bridges. We're about to turn here. So you're about to turn on East 135th Street.
Yeah.
Going towards the east, and this is just a short little jaunt in the Bronx. Very, very short. We're crossing over the Harlem River here, and just a very, very short jaunt in the Bronx. About a mile in total, I'd say.
I really kind of enjoyed the different atmosphere here in the Bronx. It was slightly different. It was people are just like chilling and kind of just like watching it.
Wasn't there a big like band somewhere?
There was a place where the big band, like the Bronx Running Club. I think.
It's up here somewhere or a little further?
I think it's right before the next bridge.
Yeah, so like in half a mile or something like that. In a mile, maybe.
A mile, I think. Yeah. I don't remember 100%, but I think it's right before the Willis Bridge.
Oh yeah, so this is turning on East 135th.
But it's kind of a cool atmosphere in the Bronx. Different vibe, definitely different vibe than Manhattan, and a different vibe.
Well, just look at this. Like there's trees, there's green, it doesn't have that. And then on the right there, it's a party. You can't really see it right now, but because there are tents, there are like there's people getting ready. They're probably partying all day, I would imagine. Some people.
This is here where I couldn't make my pace that I wanted to. This is where I just couldn't do it.
Mile 20. Mile 20.
I was still hoping. Because I knew
this guy walking.
Mile 20 was a tough mile because it's up that bridge, right? So I thought I could make it up here, but I couldn't. I just kind of maintained here.
Yeah, so that's kilometer 32, yeah. And it's a, okay, yeah, and we're turning here on,
Yeah, I remember this turn, yeah.
I believe this is Alexander Avenue. You won't be on this street long. It's like 3 blocks. And then you turn on East 138th. So just a couple blocks north here in the Bronx. This is the very little of the Bronx that you do see. My first time up here. This is an area called Mott Haven, I believe. M-O-T-T Haven, according to Google Maps anyways.
Yeah.
Back to the freebies that they gave us, just to finish that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, so the shirts are nice. I thought, I mean, shirts
love
are
the shirts. Shirts will be nice but they're long sleeve, so it's hard to find decent long sleeve shirt. So you need one or two in your repertoire, right?
Well, especially for us in winter, like every...
Yeah, you need a long sleeve shirt.
And then the last freebie that they give you at the buzzer, very odd freebie, the poncho, this big orange poncho that, I stuffed in my suitcase and brought home with me. I don't even know where it is right now, but like, are you going to ever wear that? Like, I'm trying to think.
I think it might be useful in a scenario where maybe for you could be like, let's say you do an ultra.
Okay.
At the end of your ultra to have it.
This is Gerald J. Ryan Boulevard, otherwise known as East 138th Street. And I believe here somewhere there's like 5-6 blocks here of this. And then you're basically turning back on Madison Avenue Bridge.
It almost feels like these two bridges are just back to... Oh, you got water. Oh, Gatorade. That looked like Gatorade.
Gatorade I decided with.
How much did you split? How much did you split between Gatorade and water?
I don't think I really knew what was going on.
Yeah, I was just grabbing whatever was convenient.
I wish I would have made a better plan. I wish I would have made a better hydration plan now that I watched this instead of just winging it.
Well, it's good. The Gatorade was good because to get a bit of Gatorade for me, I feel like it helped because it gave me a few extra calories, but it also provided the electrolytes that are needed. So I heard about people doing salt tablets and stuff, but
have you ever done that?
Never done. I guess it's not a big issue for me, I feel, but maybe, I don't know. I don't know exactly what it does. I'd have to research it more.
Yeah, I did have salt.
Never even considered it.
Probably, look at this guy with his legs. He's trying to get something out.
He's cramping up.
I made probably the best joke ever at the end of the race when you and I were in Times Square and I had the whole salt face happening there.
Yeah.
And I said 2 of us went to New York to do a marathon. One qualified for Boston and the other got assaulted. Because I had salt all over my face. I got assaulted.
Another turn. So many turns here in the Bronx.
Yeah, this is one.
So many turns so many turns in Queens and so many turns in the Bronx. Just a lot of turns. And then we're making our way towards the overpass to get onto Madison Bridge. So we're gonna be on another bridge here pretty soon. Yeah, it kind of feels to me like they were just like back to back.
Well, it's just a million turns, right?
Yeah, a million turns, then another bridge. This is really hard to keep your pace in this section.
Yeah. I'm definitely slowing down here. If I pull up my results from my marathon, this would be this is 35K. We're at roughly 727 now per marathon. And my last ones are 733.
Yeah.
It's actually not that bad, right? I know it's, anyways. I had some slow miles for sure in there, but.
Yeah.
And then this has the Bronx-ish feel, I guess. I don't know anything about Bronx, but this is the image that I think of when I think of the Bronx now, because the only time I've ever been.
Yeah.
And we're going to be, this is us turning onto Madison. Bit of a festive, now this is, it's kind of slowing down.
This is where you get to the band and the Bronx Runners Club or whatever.
You're sure? I don't remember exactly. I'll take your word for it.
It'll be right under this bridge here, I believe.
So this is a train overpass.
Train overpass, yeah.
There's a big station here, 138th Street Grand Concourse train station.
Yeah, and here you're kind of going down a little bit to get you ready to go up. It's pretty.
So like one of the lessons is definitely like, don't put too much weight into your time, right? Into your timing, into your pace, mile per mile. Look at maybe a rolling 3 mile average or something like that, or a rolling, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. Like, don't expect some miles to be
variation,
well above your pace, and then don't try to make it all up in 1 mile, but try to make it up slowly over the next 6 miles or something that are the flats and the downs is where you want to maybe chip away. Like maybe on the flat you chip away like 5 seconds a mile, and then on the downs you can chip away like 20 seconds a mile or something, right?
All right. Yeah, this is and then that's it. You're basically back into Manhattan all over again after you're on this bridge.
Yeah. And then there's quite a few turns at the beginning of Manhattan. Well, no, I guess not. It's just that.
No. You just go around that park.
That park, which was
Marcus.
really hard. I remember really kind of at that point. I think that's at the point I accepted that I wasn't going to make my 310.
I wish they would have sent us through that park. Could they have sent us right through that park? Marcus Garvey Park?
Well, yeah, I guess, but then they'd have to change the course, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so going up the bridge, so maybe we missed those guys somewhere.
They might have been playing. I know they were in there somewhere. I remember them.
Yeah, they was super loud, I remember.
This is a cool little bridge, eh?
So it
Madison.
doesn't look bad. This bridge doesn't look bad, but it's just at where in the race it is, it's hard.
Another character in that play that we saw on this day. Bridge named after.
This one as well. Oh, Madison.
Yeah, he wasn't a feature character, but he was involved.
Yeah.
Wasn't Burr his vice president or something?
I think so, yeah. So, Kent, look how many people are walking.
They're
That's
walking.
classic marathon, though. Mile 20, 21.
21. Walking. And people with very good times. And now you're down here.
But it might be their first.
Yeah.
And they're learning a lesson.
A lesson in humility.
Yeah.
Because the marathons are humbling. They teach lessons. They're very giving, but they taketh.
Yeah.
Do you prefer that feeling? So of all the races that you've completed, what was the best finish feeling that you've had of every race that you've felt?
By far, it was LA. By far, like the Big Bear. My first time I qualified for Boston. I can now say I've qualified twice for Boston. So this may have been the second best feeling. This one here.
Where does Ironman rank in there? Did you feel good after the Ironman?
Ironman was more of a I'm so glad this is over type feeling.
Yeah, because the marathon, it's like 3 hours. You don't get the feeling of I'm so glad this is over because you don't get like the 12 hours of pain or whatever, right?
Yeah. It was a really good feeling now that I'm thinking about, because I finished kind of decently strong the last mile, but I was a little disappointed in my time, so that makes it hard. Like but it's your first Ironman, right? So it was kind of mixed feelings for me, that one, for some reason.
I thought you did really good for your first Ironman. You beat me by 2.5 hours on my first Ironman.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy's cramping up.
I
think if I were to rank mine, I think the LA one was just because I think there's a direct correlation to the journey and the dopamine, the high, right, that you get. Because we worked very, very, very hard on that journey, right? I didn't miss one workout. I was fully committed. And then you get there. Remember how, if you guys want to check out how dopamine crashed we were, There's an episode of the running journey that we recorded the afternoon. Oh, look at me, I'm drinking again. So maybe I did drink more than I think. I missed some, but I definitely caught some as well. There's an episode that we're recording of the running journey, which is our podcast, Charlie and I, on this channel that you can check out.
Yeah.
That afternoon, and we are both like just.
Yeah. But the
down.
lesson learned is you walk a 10K. Always walk a 10K after a marathon. That's when you.
Yeah, I don't I don't disagree. I think it's definitely something that, like, I felt good after this one.
I felt great too. Like, I think the walking just kind of wakes you up, and it, like, you're tired, but it also like helps you recover. I don't know. I felt like it's the best I've ever felt after a marathon. This one.
Yeah, me too. We're now going south on Fifth Ave, going towards Central Park.
Yeah.
We're about to hit
slightly uphill here.
Slightly uphill, okay. Marcus Garvey Park, about to hit that park that we have to go around. And kind of getting ready for our finish, which is Central Park. I hate that my camera here got wet, but I guess I was drinking and it must have fallen on it. But it does clear up here in a few minutes.
So for me, this was about the point where I knew I wasn't going to make 3:10.
Because you had to make like.
I wasn't that far behind. I was like maybe 30 seconds behind, but the effort just to maintain my pace, it just became so hard.
And you're running out of miles and you're doing the calculation. I'm like, okay, I need to trim 15 seconds per mile or 10 seconds per mile.
Well, it felt like I was giving my all just to maintain a pace, you know?
Right. Yeah, I'm slowing down here quite a bit. I ended up doing a 6-minute positive split. So I did quite a bit slower in my second half than my first half. But that's okay. I'm not like disappointed how the day went. It's where I was at that.
Very well considering where you were, and
it's where I was at that time, and now I'm getting ready. Speaking of getting ready, you've been, obviously the ramp up has started for you for training for 18 weeks out, right? I think.
Let me check my training peaks real quick.
I think it's 18 or 19 weeks out. So I had my first tempo run, and I had my first fast finish run this week, and it feels good to push. I haven't pushed in forever.
Yeah.
It felt so good to push and to try to.
Yeah. So did I today. Same type of thing. Oh, I can't go to 2024. Yeah, I can.
Do you sometimes get to the point in the race here and you're like, how is this guy here?
Oh, all the time, yeah.
I'm like, as if I'm not faster than this guy.
Yeah.
And then you kind of, or you see someone ahead that you're like, no way is that guy. Or you like, someone passes you and you slow down to like.
Well, it happens way more in like triathlons.
Yeah.
Because I guess people that don't look like they're in that great of shape can be good at biking.
Yep.
But yeah.
Was that 35K just there, I think, on the side?
You must be pretty close. You must be on mile 23 right now, right? So 22, 23?
Or it might have been mile 22. It was a sign. Yeah, it's probably mile 22 is probably what it was, actually.
So for me here at this point, it was kind of a mental battle, just hanging on.
Yeah, this was
not quite yet where it was like desperately hanging on, but here it was just like maintain your pace, just try to maintain your pace for a little bit.
Do you feel like there's a little bit, and I know this is the wrong way to describe this, but I'll try to do it anyways, a little bit of sense of relief when you realize when you've given up mentally on the 3:10, and then it's like, okay, it'll be 3:11 or 3:12 or 3:13, and whatever it is, nothing really, I can't change it that much, right? Is there a little bit
but you're
disappointed.
So yeah, but you just tell yourself just keep moving at that point, right? So
yeah.
But even that was really hard. I remember, so this guy right here with the
no shirt,
with the headdress, like the he was ahead of me for a while. I guess he collapsed.
Okay.
Anyways,
Yeah.
So
when you have that goal,
it's strange. Like for me, it was like I was even just struggling not to walk. Like, but I think everyone is at that point. Like mile 24, like I so desperately wanted to just stop and walk. So it was it was a relief that I didn't need to go at 7:15, but even just to keep moving felt really hard.
But deep down, you're like, okay, it'll be 7:30s or 7:40s or whatever it's gonna be.
Yeah. I had decided now it's just keep moving. Don't walk. Right. That was at about mile 23 that I decided that.
Yeah, just don't walk, finish strong, give it all you got, but at least you're like, okay, I don't have to kill myself to reach that goal because it's not impossible. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that moment when you actually make that decision is a tough one because you're throwing in the towel, right? You're kind of quitting in a way of that goal, but in another way, it's like.
Well, what I do is once I decide, I made another goal. I immediately made another goal, which was like, keep moving and keep your miles under 8. Just so that you stay in it. Because one time I remember me and you ran a half.
Yeah, because you can't function without a goal, right?
You were in good shape and I wasn't when we ran that one. And I remember we started at like a 7:20 pace. And I couldn't keep it. So it was, and you were like, I can go way faster. So you like went way ahead of me, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to have a great race. So what I did to stay in that race was say, I'm just going to make sure every mile's under 8. So that kept me in mentally. If you're not in mentally, it's so hard to just kind of start walking,
Yeah, but it's a different frame of mind to be doing 8-minute miles versus trying to be pushing 15-minute miles, right? It's obviously way easier, and it's easier to stay.
So what it does is it gives you a more achievable goal. It gives you a more achievable goal, and it's not a crazy goal, but it keeps you engaged,
Keeps you engaged. Yeah, you got to be engaged. It's like when, for my last Ironman, I thought I was going to do whatever hours, and then quickly realized that wasn't going to happen. So then new goal, and then new goal, and then every time I would fail at one goal, I'd set a new one, and I needed that to be engaged.
Yeah.
But like the whole way through, I was failing and resetting goals and failing and resetting goals and failing.
Yeah.
That's why I could not wait to get off that bike. Oh.
Start running.
There's a video on my TikTok account. It's like my mom is recording. She's watching and she's like, "You're doing so good." And I was just like, felt like the biggest failure ever. And I was just like, can't wait to go for a jog. Like I just want to go for a jog. And like I remember just like I just want to get off this goddamn bike. Like I'm sick and tired of this. Look at me drinking again. So maybe I wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it looks like you're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we at here miles wise? This is where I saw Cheryl, I believe.
So now we're on 5th Ave. We're on the 23rd mile. So we haven't finished. We haven't hit mile 23 yet. We're going south.
So mile 24 is the hardest mile you're going to run on this course.
A lot of jerseys. Yeah.
So surprisingly, it doesn't. People talk about the bridges, but mile 24 is uphill the entire mile. And especially if you're tired, and it's the toughest mile there is. I think I did it in 8:05 or 7:55, somewhere around there.
Wow. So that would be, let me check my time.
I'll check mine. Actually, I'm not 100% sure.
Which mile did you say, 24? Yeah, I did 5:16.
Pace?
Kilometers, yeah.
So I did mile 24 in 7:52. So that'd be, what's that in kilometers? I'm not 100% sure. So it'd be like 4:55 or something.
4:54 4, yeah.
But it was my slowest mile by more than 30 seconds.
Right. Yeah,
Sorry, except for 25. So you can tell where I made that decision. Mile 23, I definitely made that decision where it was just like all of a sudden I'm just kind of cruising it in.
Isn't it crazy how like the power of the mind though? Like we do this, you do 23 miles and you're on your pace and I'm not like, I do this, so I'm not like, and all of a sudden I decide I'm going to do an 8-minute mile or whatever, and then you're just doing 8. Like, it's crazy how the mind works. That it allows you to finish, but it also allows you to run just under that. Do you think if you would have said 7:45, you would have finished? You would have did 7:45s? Do you think?
Well, they were all under. So there was that one slow mile, but then they were like 7:30s.
Okay.
After. So basically, just slightly easier. I was just running slightly easier than I had been running for 26 miles, but just that little bit of relief of running.
I felt it. So like when I gave up on life generally on the back of this, not life, but like on pretty much any time.
But I would stop you at that and say that finishing when you're struggling, even if you're going slower, is not like, it's hard. So to say that like you just gave up, to me that's not really accurate, because you finished without having to stop, and
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Thank you. You're right. Well, I did have the one goal of 3:20. I was like, you cannot do worse than 3:20. Like you cannot. Like that's the one thing, Rob, you can't. And then when I had like a mile and a bit left, I'm like, holy shit, I need to do at least 9 and change. I was like, can I do 9 and change? Can I do like a 9-minute mile? And yeah, sure enough, I could.
Yeah.
But that was my goal. Yeah, I guess it wasn't. It just feels, because you spend 3 hours telling yourself you're going to do something and then you don't do it, right?
Yeah.
But before the race, I was
like, it's still an incredible accomplishment. Like, and like how hard it is to come to finish that when you're on the brink,
Yeah, my hips were so sore. But it's, I don't want to be. I appreciate you pumping my tires. So
no, anyone that does it, it's not just you. Like any one of these people right here that is kind of finishing when
they're not having
marathons are hard, right? And this is the hard part. This is the hard part right here, right?
I had never experienced like opposition, or what's the word I'm looking for?
I know what word you're thinking.
Facing, like I'd never faced like
adversity
in a marathon. Like it all gone according to plan. All of my 5 that I'd done before this. Like we made a plan and it'd gone better than the plan for all 5 of them, right?
Yeah.
And this one was like, So now I imagine we passed mile 23, or we'd be close.
Yeah, I think you're on mile 24. So many people walking all of a sudden, man.
And this is Central Park to your right. So we've arrived at Central Park. So we'll be doing about a mile of this here, running next to Central Park, and then we enter Central Park. What's your? Here's a marker here. What is this?
23. So now,
23.
Okay, you have it. So this is the hardest mile on the course right here, starting now.
23.
And then it kind of carries into the next mile too, right? Because it's
and then you get a bit of a break on mile 20, first half of mile 25, but then the last section is another uphill. Like, what do you think about how they did not make this course easy?
like these guys are walking, and this is still like, it's still iconic New York. It's still
but it's like it's almost like they've strategically put in hills at the spots where you don't want them.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, when they built the city, they
yeah.
Someday there will be a marathon here. We shall make it difficult for mile 20. No shirt again. Same guy or different guy?
I can't believe these guys.
I would have loved.
5K left. 5K left.
5K left.
Oh God, I just remember being in so much pain here.
Yeah. It is neat to push through and get it done, and you're not having a good day. You're still a decent, 23, 24 minutes for a 5K is still 20. It's still fast-ish.
Yeah. No, I mean. Okay, so sorry. So we went through our plans. Oh yeah, I want to do some. I want to do some triathlons next summer too. You had mentioned doing that.
Yeah.
Like just the local ones.
Oh shit! I just remembered. Sorry to interrupt. Last thing on my schedule that I forgot. I have the World Championships of triathlon in October in Mallorca, Spain.
Oh yeah, cool.
I forgot about it.
I wonder why I never qualified when I finished third for the long course.
Did you ask?
I haven't asked, but I guess I know Les Friesen. Sorry, there's another guy that's 44 or 43. He's your age, I think.
Yeah.
Beat me, but I would have thought I would have been in the older category.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it has to do with birth year or time at the race or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah. Anyway,
so you were saying
I finished second. I finished second in the long course to that guy, and
you finished second.
Second in the Olympic to you. So it's fine.
It's fine. You're over it.
Yeah, I'm over it.
Well, next year you'll win because it's at 45 to 50, right? Is there someone else?
Wow, there's gonna be some competition there. I'm gonna have to. But I'll be in good shape next year, so we'll see.
Okay. So you said you'd run a couple of the Manitoba calendar triathlons, which there are 5.
I might even run the Manitoba Marathon. Was one thing I was thinking.
Yeah, you think you'd waste like a max effort on a Manitoba Marathon?
No, I won't do max effort.
Okay, like
I'll do like a 3:30 or something.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna do that regardless, and I kind of don't really count that, right? Like, Patrick, my coach, asked me all the races I want to do. Well, every time there's a half marathon in Winnipeg, I kind of want to do it just to support local racing.
Yeah.
So like, I did that one last week. I ran a 1:52. Like, it was a trail run in the winter, and it was just like a jog. So I'm gonna keep doing that, and I'm not counting those as like racing.
Yeah. No, that's a training run, right?
That's a training run.
Yeah. So one of the things I'm doing, this year, change up in my training strategy for this winter is I'm going to do a lot more treadmill running.
You're going to listen to your brother.
Yeah. So the reason is I think running a lot on like in the cold when you get older and in the snow, like it can be tough on the body, I think. So I feel like maybe if I do a bit more treadmill running, I'll be able to keep the miles up without having as many injuries or any injuries. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
I did 100% of my training last winter season, indoors, 100%. I didn't go outside once.
Yeah.
Now this year I've been running outside kind of twice a week.
Yeah.
I
think a bit of it is good, but I think to have that consistent, surface.
But to be clear, we're in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Our winters are the coldest in North America. Out of any major city in North America, we have the coldest climate in North America. So it's not like super easy to go outside in February and minus 35 degrees or minus 40 times.
And the cold is one thing, because the whole cold might make it hard to breathe a little bit, but it's also like, if we get a bunch of snow, our sidewalks are kind of get uneven. And
I felt it when I ran yesterday morning outside. I did just like a 10K.
Yeah.
It was very much harder than it would be. Like, I felt like it was 20% harder, 25%, 30% harder.
Yeah. And that's mostly surface, I think.
Central Park here. We just entered Central Park.
Yeah. So you kind of start getting excited here, but
yeah.
One of the things you need to mentally prepare yourself for is this is going to be long.
Yeah, this is East Drive of Central Park. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, all I was going to say is don't feel like you're done here. because you're not.
Yeah, this is the because you think Central Park, it's the end. I'm close. I'm like, I can't be that far. I should probably start sprinting, but like you have 2.5 full miles here yet.
Yeah.
2 miles and a bit. So this is the Jackie Kennedy Onassis Reservoir on your right, which is kind of the big lake in Central Park. And then you're just kind of running through that, and then you're going to turn on East Drive, kind of goes all the way, follows Central Park south. And I was blown away how big Central Park is. I mean, obviously.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah.
It's big, but I mean, you just.
So I ended up running like 6 miles the day before because I was in Central Park and I was doing like a tourist run, I'd call it. Like I didn't even notice, and all of a sudden I had run 6 miles.
Yeah, so this is a funny story. There's Zdeno.
Zdeno, you and Zdeno, but you must have crushed him at the end, or he started before you, because you beat him by like a minute. You beat him by like a minute, right?
So he probably had a hard time, I guess, or he started before me. Who knows?
Started before, yeah.
But I mean, he was ahead of me for a while here, so I'm catching up to him, right?
Yeah.
So he probably finished a little weaker than I did, I would imagine. But that story is kind of more complicated than just that. You ran out to do a 3-mile jog, and you came back and said, "Man, I did a 6-mile jog." Like you were so like in a New York in tourist mode, like for you not to notice that you did 3 extra miles is kind of.
Well, no, I knew by the time I got to the end, I knew I had done extra miles, but I was like 2 miles away, and I was like, oh well, I guess I'm gonna run home.
All right. Oh, so you only did like an extra 1.5 miles without realizing.
Yeah.
Instead of stopping at 1.5 miles and turning around, you stopped at 3 miles.
Yeah. I think I was probably like 2 miles over by the time I realized it.
Recording how I feel right here. All right.
Okay, so you did 24. That was the toughest mile.
24. This guy's walking.
Mile 24.
Mile 24. So there's a library, the Metropolitan Museum of Art here should be on the left. And there's another aid station there, and kind of see both sides of Central Park, right? Because you start on the
so here you're like in the middle of it, right?
Ish, but like not really. It's maybe about as I have the map here, it's about 25% of the way in. But you are kind of going down. There are so many paths in Central Park. I can't. There's so many.
It looks like Zdeno's crushing you here. He's pulling away here.
Yeah, he is. But like, let the record show that I beat Hall of Famer Zdeno Chara by 40-something seconds.
Hall of Famer?
Dude, the guy won like 4 Norrises or whatever. I'm assuming he's in the Hall of Fame already, is he not?
No, I don't think so. Maybe.
He's definitely going to be
most overrated.
He just retired. He just retired.
Yeah. I mean, he has a good reach. Doesn't really know how to play hockey, but
yeah, no, he's 1,680 games. Oh, he's only won 1 Norris Trophy.
But 1,600 games is pretty good.
Yeah, he had great.
I did not like him because he played against Montreal, and he was a bit of a whiner.
Yeah, but obviously
he's a good runner though. Like he's crushing you right now.
For now. But he also qualified for Boston, so he's running Boston.
Did he really?
Someone told me that they saw it on his Instagram or something. So this was like he's into running, obviously now.
Well, how old is he? This was not a qualifier for him unless he's like 45.
No. He's our age. He is 45.
Yeah, if he's 45, then he would have qualified with this run. Yeah. But only by 2.5 minutes, which might not be good enough.
Yeah, no, he had already qualified, I think.
Oh, he had previously. You mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
This Italian soccer jersey guy has been him and I have been.
Man, he's just kind of chilling here.
That's how fast I'm running. Like it's not that fast, right? Barely going.
But it looks like, so here's the thing that I'm always amazed when I watch these videos is that so you're running at a pretty fast pace. Like it's still kind of you're around 8 minutes right now, right?
Yeah.
Maybe even. But it looks so slow when you look at it. But when I'm actually running at like an 8-minute pace, it feels so fast. It's so weird.
Like today, you did probably 6 miles at 8 minutes, right? In your
Yeah, like my 6 warm-up miles were at 8 minutes. It felt fast. Felt like I
Yeah.
was like going pretty hard. But then when I see it, I'm like, these guys aren't running fast. They look
first
slow, you know?
time you see any kind of space ever at all in front of you with no one around, in the whole race.
Yeah, mile 25.
Like the first time, there's no one really. There's one guy, but aside from that, like it's kind of like a Saturday jog right now for the first time.
But I think this is an easy section here, downhill a little bit.
Plus, you're so close. Like I don't know about you, but like 24 is significantly different than 23, and 25 is significantly different than because now
it gets easier. It gets easier when you get closer, for sure.
Yeah, and it's
surprisingly, but your heart rate, like your body, it doesn't get easier for body. It gets easier for your mind.
Yeah, and your mind can handle like a few minutes of 165, 170 because you know you're almost done now, and
you know it's gonna take a couple minutes of pain, but you'll get through it, and it'll be done.
Like I don't imagine you've ever, like anytime you've ever, like 24, 25 is always like exciting, strong finish, do well, and you know I've never had a period where I've had to like walk those or ever or like.
So I have but my first marathon, I started walking at mile 16. Yeah.
Dude, I did a 5:58 one time. There was a lot of walking. 5:58. Yeah. And this is I believe it's slightly uphill, right? Still,
the end is severely uphill, actually.
Yeah,
not even
it goes from.
So I don't think you're there yet, but right at the end, you're still on 25, right? So you're still a mile away.
No, but I mean, even just there's a stretch where you go from 10 feet above sea level to 40 feet above sea level at kilometers 38 and 39.
Yeah. No, it's pretty hilly. It's like rolling hills, all of Central Park, right?
Yeah. This was walking. Come on, you got 3K left. 4K left. I got to participate in the Parade of Nations, which was on the back side of this, on the other side of the park once we turned this corner and the next corner. And I got to see Central Park for the first time the Friday night that we landed. So this is kind of where I was going, and it was fun. The Parade of Nations.
Yeah.
You got this, buddy.
Oh, that guy's struggling. There are people that are struggling.
Cramping up. So cramping up can happen.
Yeah, that guy's just walking. Oh, he's jogging now, but he's still going faster than me when he was walking.
Oh, another walker. Nobody's starting up.
And then the people in Central Park now. So I guess, remember, we started in the first wave. So there's like the marathon starts all the way till noon, I think.
Yeah, 11:30. Every 35 minutes.
And we started at
9:10.
9:10. Okay, so it's kind of another 2.5 hours of.
Yeah, 9:10, 9:45, 10:20, 10:55, and 11:30.
All right, and Ewald Friesen here. I've seen him a few times.
Ewald with the hoodie, man.
How are you jogging with a hoodie? What's happening in your life, dude?
No, this is not a guy running the marathon, right? Like this is a filmer or something.
I don't know. That was 40K.
But like, how are you wearing a jacket the whole way? No, I can't be.
And how is it unzipped and loose? Why? Why do you need a jacket? It's now like room temperature.
It's
outside.
like 20 degrees outside, or 20 Celsius.
Yeah, it's 70 degrees, and
I understand the guys with no shirts makes more sense to me. Definitely makes a lot more sense to me than the sweater.
It makes no sense, the sweater. Some
Well,
guys
maybe they're from a warm region. Who knows?
I guess. Maybe they think we're crazy when we jog with, like, remember when we went to the LA and the Las Vegas Marathon at the start line, it was like 0 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
So that's what, 32?
32, yeah.
and people had toques, people had mitts, toques, jackets, pullovers, scarves, everything. And you and I are in shorts and t-shirt, right?
Yeah.
So they probably thought we were crazy, right? Or did we wear a sweatshirt and then drop it?
No, I had a hoodie that I discarded, and I had I had a hat, and I had
in
gloves.
LA, but not in Vegas.
LA. Not in Vegas. No, Vegas we were completely unprepared.
Yeah.
Okay, so 25. You hit mile 25.
Yeah, so now we're about to.
You know you're done, but it's pain. It's painful.
I feel like it's never proportionately. Like the last mile makes no sense when you're trying to okay, it's got to be 26, and you can never see.
It feels like very long. It feels very long, that last mile always.
And the last point two.
Point two feels like forever.
It's an absurd distance. The 0.2 miles.
Yeah. Because in your head you're like, just get to 26 and then you're done. It's only 0.2 left, and then you get there and then you're not done.
Yeah.
But that's the mind tricks you play, right? Like you're like, just get to there and then,
Yeah. I think I'm saying something into my phone. So I did a lot of videos to myself because I kind of wanted to record how I was feeling, and check out that on the running channel too. I think we have a 7-minute video, 8-minute video which is just a summary of this race if you want to check that out. But this is the real deal, the full deal, the entire race minus the couple minutes in the middle where I replaced the batteries. But
yeah.
How do you feel kind of watching this, Charlie? Does it take you back?
Yeah. No, definitely getting kind of goosebumps remembering how I felt finishing this. Also kind of the other feeling that you get when you finish a marathon, 1 mile to go there, that's a useless one.
Was that a sign?
Yeah, there was a sign 1 mile to go.
Okay.
It's like, oh, you're telling me I just did 0.2 miles?
Yeah, and that can't be. You're arguing with signs. They screwed up the signs. There's no way it makes sense. You're getting all mad at anyone who'll in your head. Why am I getting mad at random people that don't even
it's Zdeno. You're making your move.
There's Big Z.
Yeah, he's making the move.
Is this where I made my push? Big push here?
Yeah, he finished strong. You and Zdeno pretty much the whole way together.
Yeah.
Oh, elbows.
I'm gonna send him the link. I'm gonna send him the link and be Big Z. If you want to see your race, here it is. This is pretty much your race.
Yeah.
So now I'm ahead of him, right? I'm ahead of Big Z. Right?
Yeah,
he was behind
crushing.
me. Yeah.
He was way ahead of you, and you made quite a move there.
Yeah, big move. This is
the cop. You had to avoid the cop there.
Oh,
so this is 69th.
59th.
59th? It's the edge of the park.
The edge of Central Park, yeah.
Yeah.
This is where the parade kind of finished. The corner of 59th and Central Park. Broadway, actually. Broadway and 59th.
This is where it's starting to feel real, where you're like, I'm going to finish. Well, you know you're going to finish, but...
Hey, if you're meeting family, one thing we should talk about real quick before we get to the finish. Do not meet your family on Central Park West. Don't meet them on any of those side streets, 65th, 67th, 60, none of those. It's impossible to move there. I would strongly suggest you go 2 blocks over, east.
I would say west. West. Like Amsterdam, 2 blocks over west, any of those streets,
Amsterdam or West End Avenue.
But to the northern side, because you have to walk the northern edge of Central Park 2 streets west is what I would say.
Yeah.
Because you have to walk all the way up when you get out.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to walk south towards kind of 59th, but
they let you go out, though, is what I'm saying. You can exit any. So
I would go
I forget which one it is. Yeah, I forget which one it is, but
it's Central Park is this street, or is the one on the side, and then Columbus, and then Amsterdam. So I'd go to Amsterdam, which is 10th
Amsterdam.
Ave.
But what I'm saying is, how far north would I go? I'd say go 3/4 of the way up.
I think just a little bit north of the finish.
Yeah.
Of where you come out.
Well, you can go a bit more north. I'm just saying but yeah, somewhere around there. Because what happens is when you finish your race, you got to walk north.
you can't move, and there's so many people.
Yeah. Getting through, like, I remember I was dripping in sweat, and like
Arguing
there
with
was 20 people touching me because I was trying to get through a street, and that's how like packed it was. Poor people touching my sweaty body.
So this is 59th. We're going towards we're going to approach Broadway here, and then we're going to turn north, and just the last stretch is going north on Central Park. This guy's walking. Come on, dude. There's half a mile left. You can do it. Obviously, he's having a hard time, right?
Yeah, it's so strange that you think this guy can run 25 miles at like a 7:25 pace or 7:30 pace.
And he can't jog.
Jog like a half mile at like a 10-minute mile pace. Or something, I guess, but it's the mind, right? It's I've been there. I've been there,
800 meters to go. I remember that sign.
Oh yeah. It felt like
800. That means I only did half a mile.
Yeah. But here it was like, okay, I'm just like pushing now.
Yeah.
It was like it'll end soon. It was like it'll end soon, but you have to go through this,
And you have to enjoy this. Make sure you enjoy this day. Everyone who's watching this, don't forget to enjoy the day. It's going to be one of the only chances you're going to get, or maybe you'll be lucky and you'll get to do it more than once. But like, enjoy the day. Get the video camera in your mind going and just enjoy the day.
Yeah, it's truly one of the great experiences you'll ever get is finishing the New York City Marathon.
Pretty much as good as it gets in terms of running. I remember this woman goes, "Mr. from Canada."
Yeah, this corner here. Yep.
And then you're kind of
you go down a bit and then you go up.
Yeah, and then the little hill at the end, and people start sprinting here, and
all of a sudden you get the energy boost.
Yeah. I wanted some space. I wanted my space to sprint. No, I don't think I even did a sprint. I think I was just like kind of taking it all in, and I knew I was going to beat 320. Now I was like, okay, I'm beating 320. So
yeah.
Don't forget, guys, to subscribe to our channel, listen to our podcast. Charlie and I go through the journey, our running journey, all of our different races, ultras, Ironman, qualifying for New York, qualifying for Boston, and just two regular guys jogging, trying to make something out of it, trying to have fun doing it, and trying to go places. This is the last stretch here. Charlie, what are your kind of final thoughts about this one? I know you said enjoy it, take it all in.
Yeah. Enjoy it, take it all in. Enjoy the city after.
Enjoy the city after. New York's such an unbelievable city. What is this one? 26. So there's a point.
26. The classic point two. We've all been there. That point two.
Yeah, I think of every race that I've ever done, and I always remember seeing that 26. Like seeing the 26.
Yeah. It's a weird feeling to explain that 26.
Yeah, because
you're not there.
You're not there, but you're there, and yet you know it's going to be hard, but yet you're there, and it's kind of like.
Yeah, there you go. You're like
pumped.
Yeah.
And then you start.
Then when you see the finish line, it's like.
I did feel this took a while to see the finish line. I was like, what?
Yeah, well, 0.2 miles is forever. It's the biggest. The last 0.2 miles of a marathon is the longest 0.2 miles.
The big flags, the big support.
The crowd. Look at the crowd, though, eh?
Yeah, this is mental.
This guy's sprinting hard.
The little hill here at the end. This was where the Parade of Nations was, right here.
Yeah.
This is where Kevin McAllister left the Wet Bandits in Home Alone 2.
The Wet Bandits, yeah.
And then the grandstands are just packed. What are you doing, buddy?
Careful.
Careful, old man. Careful, Grams. Like the grandstands, just packed.
Yeah.
Not packed, but there's a lot of people.
Here we go. Why would you go on the right here? But I guess some people do.
They wanted their own finish.
Yeah. Done. All right.
Wow. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Charlie and I, don't forget to check out our other videos. We will do this again for other races. See you in the next video.
See you in the next video.